Ahoy, landlubbers! It's me, your Captain Vasco speaking. And
The
welcome.
servants call me Dummy Thick.
The servants have been known to say such things. Yeah, I left that one up from last week's Halloween streams. I took the other ones offline for now. There's some management behind the scenes I probably need to do. And at some point in the very near future, I do need to like get on board with the Patreon for Trigger Fire. So I did actually disable a certain alert so that I could make Halloween stuff work, because otherwise I would have gone over the limit. Lol. Yeah. Anyway, says, I remember us having an impromptu chat stream when something went terribly wrong. That's historically when I say that they happen impromptu. That is when that happens. But we could do that sometime. We could do a full chat stream. But yeah, so last week, if you weren't here, we had our triad of Halloween streams. We had 2 normal streams and a big long Sunday special where I was dressed like Straw Hat Luffy from One Piece. It was a pretty good time. We completed the Dark Side Detective Adventure game, the second one. We did the first one last year and then the second one this year. But now it's time to finish Raincoat. I keep seeing ads from Spike Chunsoft on Twitter, because I follow them, because they make a lot of visual novel games that I follow with interest. And they're pushing the DLC really hard, but before we consider whether or not we're doing that, we have to finish the game. So let's recap roughly where we're at. We've solved a few cases already. At the conclusion of the last case that we finished in its entirety, the local law enforcement, known as the Peacekeepers, literally fired a missile at our detective agency's submarine base because they were sick of us actually solving crimes, because they like to just falsify paperwork and frame somebody and call it a day. Somehow we were survived by someone wearing a mask and being very anime, and they concealed our presence from the Peacekeepers, and then they were sort of like, you should consider working with me against your own villains. And we're like, for some reason that sounds like a bad idea. I'm gonna go wander out into nothingness and hope that my friends didn't die in a missile explosion. So far, all signs look pretty bad, other than the fact that we did run into Fubuki Clockford, the wealthy heiress to some, like, clock-making company or something. And, we started investigating. Well, by the time we met her, we had already run into this, like, rebel faction who also is trying to take down the big corporation that runs Kanai Ward, whose name is Amaterasu, which I only remember because that's the thing from Cardfight Vanguard. And they were all like, oh yeah, be our friend. And we're like, well, all my friends might have died in a missile explosion. I'm not really doing anything until I figure out how dead they are. And they're like, we don't like that answer. But how about this? If you put some security cameras around the town, it helps everyone. We can make sure that they're not doing bad stuff. And we're like, okay. So we start doing that, and that's when we run into Fubuki, and she's like, well, I have a lucrative job being a barista that everyone is ogling all day long, but yeah, I guess I could go back to crime solving. And unfortunately, not too much later, we learned that we had been a patsy for some terrorist attack, and now some disembodied voice is like, hey, so everyone's gonna think that you're blowing up the city unless you come and stop me. And we went to go confront the rebels about that, about being set up, and about what the heck was going on. And then we found their leader, the only guy who was, like, working with us. He was murdered, and it was what I like to call a locked roof scenario, because the only way up or down is a locked staircase or the fire escape, which we took up. And I think we heard the shot and an explosion on the way up, because I remember there being something weird about the way that was formatted in the text box. So, like, basically, there's no way that anyone could have done that without, like, a sniper rifle. But we just got to the scene, we haven't started investigating, and now we must seek a way out of being accused of both murder and bombing. So, you know, it's not a great day for you, Makoko Head. But together, maybe we'll solve a crime or two. I don't actually remember if I set this up so that continue will continue correctly, because I did get that Fubuki clock for drop at some point since the last time we played. Let's find out together. Also, hello, Letters. How's it going? Happy November. We made it. We're most of the way through 2023, for better and for worse. Also, thanks to everybody. Lots of people showing up we haven't seen in a minute, and we had a hype train just before we got started. Much appreciated. Have one of these. Has a new dolphin emote. That's fun. Ah, good. It is in the correct spot. So this, listen, I don't remember the names of any of the rebel people. There were already too many characters in this game. I'm glad I'm not doing the voice acting for this one. I'd be pretty tired by now if I was. But this guy, he recruited us basically after our submarine base exploded, and he was like, "We're the rebels. We want to take down the same people you don't like, and I know a thing or two about homunculi," which is maybe Kanai Ward's ultimate secret, something that we were told by the World Detective Agency that we should be looking out for. And now he dead. So let's investigate. Thank you for the recommendation for Somnium Files. Recently finished it. Zero Escape series had better puzzles, but had to see the AI story through. Well, I'm glad that you liked it, Letters. That's kind of how I feel. Like, look, I like playing the Uchikoshi games because they have, like, a certain vibe to them. The Somnium puzzles are not great. Some of them are good. Consistently, like, overall, I'd say they're kind of subpar. And even though I have a couple gripes about the characters and the storytelling, I do still kind of like that world. I do like to give it a hard time, but I do feel like generally they're worth giving a shot to if you like Uchikoshi stuff, like the Zero Escape games. But I'm glad that you had a good time with those and that worked out. So is there stuff to look at other than the corpse? Because normally I like to save the corpse for last, like someone who doesn't understand how crimes work.
Yep, it's nothing.
There's an umbrella here. It's rusted, so it must have been left here for a while.
That's not, strictly speaking, true. Someone could have, like this could have rusted at some point in the past, and then they brought it up here. I don't know why you would do that, but you could. I forgot that the water textures in this game are kind of bananas. Like, at this angle, it's not so goofy, but, like, there's certain ways you can get the camera to settle. Where, yeah, when the lightning flashes, you can kind of see that the water's just sort of spinning around. It's very weird.
Could it have anything to do with the case?
Oh, that's right. I have to look at everything so I get that DP so I can level up for skills I don't need. Rooftop edge. Rooftop edge, multiple things. I'm gonna look at the edge second. I don't think I've ever seen whatever this pink cursor is before. I don't know what that means.
That explosion came from over here, I think.
Did it? That's interesting. Considering the shape and nature of the debris, someone blew a hole in the wall of the base?
I knew it. There was an explosion in the parking lot below.
Was it in the parking lot? There's like rebar and stuff. It looks like the wall exploded outward from the building we're standing on.
It left a big hole in the hideout's wall, but there don't seem to be any victims.
Okay, given that that appears to be on like the second floor of the building, I'm gonna go ahead and say that that explosion was not in the parking lot. It's semantics, I know, but that's just not how I would describe that.
What was that explosion anyway? Could it have something to do with Shachi's death?
I don't know, man. This game's weird.
The roof is pretty high up.
It's about 20 meters tall. It seems impossible to jump to the ground from here.
Clearly, you've never played Portal before.
There's no ledge to stand on. and no sign that something like a rope has been used.
If there's no way to escape the roof, it seems even more likely that this was a suicide.
I mean, what if we just... Hear me out. What if we just sought a way out and then demonstrated that you could get off the roof? Would that absolve us of crimes? Okay. And then... there's not... This is a weird angle. Like, normally I have control over the camera. I'm not totally sure what's happening. But let's check the other.
The roof is pretty high up.
That is a big explosion. Like, look at how much of the wall of the building was affected by that. It was a little hard to tell from the literal perspective we got from Yuma. But, like, dang, man. It looks like an enormous, like, Gigantamax Rotom just busted through that wall. I mean, look at that shape and look at that size. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm also not sure who would have done that or why. Is it possible that the guy who, like, had us set up the bomb cameras around the city was, like, also a turncoat to the rebels or something? It is interesting, right, Demolition? I think there's definitely some cultural element to how much more frequently suicide features in Japanese stuff. And honestly, I think more than anything, the reason is that, like, at least the United States, but maybe at large, like, Western countries, I think are, like, just less comfortable with, like, approaching the concept of suicide. Like, murder is something, like, pretty straightforward to grasp. You're like, oh, man, like, that person wanted money and they did a bad. But, like, suicide is, like, so much more complicated and often has, like, roots in something that, like, society should be struggling to solve. But, like, I do also think that, like, Japan, at least, from what I've seen in, like, anime and other things, just thinks about suicide differently. You know, there's, like, roots in, like, you know... I don't know if it's, like, insensitive to say, like, seppuku, but, like, I feel like there's generally, like, a through line of, you know, considering, like, shame to the family or shame to yourself or whatever. And I'm not saying that justifies it, I think that contributes to a different way of thinking about the concept, which, again, I think makes it a little more prevalent in, like, Japanese media. It's kind of interesting. It's definitely a little grim, for sure.
It's about 20 meters above ground. Jumping down from here would be out of the question.
It's weird that there's 2 points that I observe where he just basically says the same thing.
There's no ledge to stand on, and no sign that something like a rope has been used.
Okay, no, this is the same dialogue. And I clicked the other one. There were only 2 options.
Assuming someone climbed down using a rope after the gunshot,
Okay.
it would have taken some time to remove it.
Not if it was a rope made of something that would dissolve in the rain. Now, that does raise another complicating issue of the fact that it has rained in Kanai Ward for 3 years, and you would definitely know that it was going to be raining, and as a result, that rope would probably dissolve, and you would hit the ground pretty terminally.
There's no way someone did that without me seeing them, since I got up here in 10 seconds or so.
Okay, now in fairness, we got up here in about 10 seconds, and then I saved, and then we did several weeks of Halloween streams. So, like, they actually had, like, the better part of a month to do it. It's actually pretty difficult to follow the trail, I'm thinking. There's like some like logical goofiness to this where, like, they wanted there to be 2 takeaways, 2 like solution keys to add to the court record about the vantage point up here, and, like, for whatever reason we couldn't have that from him just, like, looking over the edge, so we needed, like, 2 separate things to interact with, so it gives, like, the same dialogue twice, and then you get 2 different clues for it.
What about
Oh,
over
interesting.
there?
Neighboring
The
building, huh?
neighboring building is taller than the hideout.
I guess it's plausible you could do something over there. It doesn't look easy. If you could somehow, like, scramble up to, like, where those power cables or whatever are, I feel like there are things you could do to, like, vault up to that next building. It's not that much taller than here.
There are no windows on the side facing us, so it'd be impossible to jump over there.
But what if they wrote in something that flies? Like a hot air balloon?
Great question. What if they wrote in something that flies, like a hot air balloon? Had you considered that, Yuma Cocohead?
The electrical lines would get in the way. Those look like high voltage lines. Touching them in the rain would be dangerous.
I guess we can rule that out then.
But what if you took, like, a highly maneuverable hot air balloon and just, like, skirted around the power cables? Yeah, that, like, listen, I'm not an electrician, I'm not an expert on these things, but that struck me too, Demolition, of, like, yeah, I guess if it wasn't raining, it'd be super chill to touch the high voltage cables, right? I do like that the solution key, for some reason, also cites the hot air balloon as though that was something particularly likely to happen.
Open up right now!
There are still peacekeepers behind the door. Sounds like they're having trouble breaking it down.
I mean, it looks like a regular old door, so I'm really not sure why that's true, other than the fact that the game needs it to not
It's only a
happen.
matter of time. I better investigate quickly and get out of here. What's this? Seems like this is an exterior key for locking the door from the rooftop. It's still in the keyhole. Maybe Shachi locked it when he went out to the roof. The peacekeepers are behind the door, so no one could have passed through there after the gunshot.
That's if it's a third party. And what if the peacekeepers got to the roof first? After killing the guy, they went back and closed the door behind them to pretend it was locked.
But the key is on this side.
Yeah.
It'd be impossible to lock it from outside after going back in.
Now, of course, we say that, but we did literally solve, like, a multiple crime scene locked room murder scenario where, like, people just, like, used tricks to cheat the locked door.
Besides, there's no need for them to put on an act.
Well, that's fair.
That's the virtue's last reward argument I always love. It's like, at the end of the day, they're just like, I can't think of a reason why you do that. It's like, just because you don't understand someone's motives doesn't mean it's not possible.
Master, you gotta hurry!
No, I have plenty of time, maybe. Oh, interesting. I looked at
There's a
this.
surveillance camera set at the entrance and exit of the emergency stairs. The camera faces the stairs, so it wouldn't capture anything happening on the rooftop. But if we check the footage, we might see if anyone used the emergency stairs. Then again, I didn't come across anyone when I came up here.
You know, now that I'm actually thinking about it, it's a little interesting that, like, a huge portion of the wall of this building exploded, and the peacekeepers don't seem to be worried about that. Now, granted, there might be enough of them that they're just carrying out 2 investigations at once. We don't typically see them run in numbers that large, but, like, maybe. That could happen. But, like, does that somehow have something to do with the way this was staged? I mean, obviously the explosion seems like some kind of distraction. Was it meant to mask the gunshot? If so, it doesn't seem like it worked.
I doubt someone involved in Shachi's death would show up on there.
I'm gonna be so mad if I'm on there. Oh, wait. I think the body might be the only thing left now. Probably. Umbrella's a little interested. The game very cleverly, like, gives us basically no context for it. I feel like if nothing else, it suggests the presence of someone else, but I don't know to what extent, really. Ooh, gun, huh?
Shachi's right hand is still holding the gun. Did
Holding
he shoot
a
himself
gun.
in the head like this?
Holding a gun. We haven't run ballistics or nothing. This is actually starting to bother me. That pink cursor, was that always there? Was it always doing that? And I just, like, had seen it enough times that I had, like, tuned it out, and now that I'm coming back to the game for a minute, it seems weird again.
I recognize this gun.
Is this the comically large gun that Gunhaver, the lady who's, like, an Olympic shooter or some ridiculous thing, gave him before our last conversation?
It's the one Shachi took out of the safe. I think it was specially made for him.
Dying to his own gun is a fitting end for a fraud like him. Maybe you should inspect the gun. You might find something suspicious about it.
It's actually full of gummy worms.
It's a revolver. There are 6 rounds loaded in the cylinder.
Hey, listen, I know we're the protagonist and all, and you might learn something interesting investigating the gun up close. Maybe wear gloves at minimum? I mean, you're definitely tampering with the crime scene at this point, but, like, I definitely don't recommend picking up the gun with your bare hands. The pretend cops are, like, right there. They're, like, 10 feet away through the strongest fire escape door known to man. But they're gonna break that down, and then, you know... I mean, I don't know. Is rain sufficient by itself to remove fingerprints from a gun? Maybe I'm the stupid one. Maybe that's just true. But, like, I, personally, don't think I'd want to mess around with that.
Wait, on closer inspection, one of the shell casings is empty.
Shouldn't it be at this
At
point?
the very least, it means one shot has been fired from this weapon.
The muzzle is still hot, and I can smell gunpowder. Maybe Shachi really did shoot himself in the head with this gun.
Yeah, it seems unlikely. Is it deliberate that it looks like there's, like, neon green paint surrounding the bullets or something?
But still, this gun is strange.
You don't think so unless it's a Heavy Rain theme music plays. What is the... I've played Heavy Rain more than a normal person does. I'm not sure I could tell you what the Heavy Rain theme music is. I mean, like, it has a literal title credit sequence. I know it has music. I can't immediately describe to you what it sounds like.
Strange? How so?
Try swinging out the cylinder. It pops out sideways. See? The cylinder swings out to the right. Regular revolver cylinders usually swing out to the left. And yet this one swings out on the opposite side. It's strange.
This makes sense to me, but it seems weird to have this revelation after making the statement that it was a custom-made gun. I feel like this is the thing that's supposed to tell me it's a custom-made gun.
Now that you mention it, it is opposite from normal ones.
Even you can tell that much, huh? Maybe you held a gun before you lost your memories?
That's not, like, a funny joke because you took my memories and you seem to still possess them. So, like, you're the one person who doesn't get to, like, say stuff like that. That's just not cool.
I don't know. I do sort of remember the feeling of gripping a handle and the smell of gunpowder.
It's unrelated, though. It's some weird kinky stuff we're not going to talk about. Nico says, why would Shinigami know that? It's not like she can hold a gun. Skull joke. Fair. I mean, do we know for sure in this universe whether or not Shinigami are, like, born from people dying? Is that a thing? Could she... Because she's sort of a ghost. Could she be the ghost of a person who liked to shoot guns?
It was probably just something I studied as a detective in training, though.
For now, I'll remember the gun's features. It might be some kind of clue.
Contrary to standard models, this firearm cylinder swings out to the right side.
You definitely want to remember this.
And for those who haven't seen this game before or are reacclimating it to the way that I am, as a reminder, this game was created by the same individual who did Danganronpa, and those games have a stylistic feature of exchanging normal human-colored blood for, like, neon pink paint. So that's what's happening here. I know we've gotten a few questions on that in the past.
It's Shachi's body. I think it's still warm. The holes in his temples look raw. There's no doubt that this was the fatal shot.
Oh, leave the body's wounds to me!
Oh, I'm really concerned about whatever's about to happen. Does he have gunpowder burns? Because that would demonstrate that the shot happened at close range, and potentially that he shot himself, which seems unlikely. But if there's no, like, close range firearm burns, then it's more likely that he was sniped or at least shot from a short distance, right?
Mm-hmm. There's no doubt he was shot. That's definitely a gunshot wound. The bullet penetrated his head and flew off somewhere.
Brilliant detective work. Bullet went really fast.
Looks like it entered through the right temple and traveled straight through the left one.
Come on now.
Are you sure about that?
If you doubt me, why don't you dig through his head yourself?
Ooh, is it minigame time?
No, I believe you.
Fresh wounds open at both temples. They appear to be the cause of death. It feels weird for this to be a clue because I don't know what I would need to prove with this. Parallel gunshot wound. This also feels weird, but I'm guessing that this is meant to be a trajectory thing.
That should be enough.
That's all the TV there is. It's so weird that it, like, prompts you in such a way that the game, like, tells you that the investigation is over, but then you still have to press a button to end the investigation. You did it!
I think I've checked everything I can for now.
Now time to close the case.
We're acting a little too calm. Didn't the person who's framing us for the bombings indicate to us that the thing on our wrist is gonna blow up like we're in the nonary game?
Unfortunately, it looks like a suicide. After all, it was only around 10 seconds after the gunshot went off that you arrived on the roof. If someone was up here besides the dead fraudster, you would have definitely seen them.
You're right. I doubt anyone was here. And if they were, where could they have gone?
I know. It was Desahiko Thunderbolt, and he's using his disguise power to look like a stack of paint cans. And he's in on framing us for crimes because he's the worst. Hey, wait a minute. Is there not a piece of evidence regarding the blood splat? I mean, I guess we're meant to believe he was, like, standing where he is. And the initial shot, which would have come from the right... Wait. So hang on. Dude has a custom revolver. And the chamber comes out on the opposite side from usual, which suggests more or less that it's like a left-handed revolver, right? Like it's custom made to work from the left hand. So, like, given the way that he is standing in this hypothetical scenario, in order for that first blood splatter to make sense, he would have to have shot himself with his non-dominant hand? That seems peculiar, right? I feel like that, in and of itself, pretty strongly suggests that it's not the obvious thing, other than the fact that this is a mystery game, and it'd be pretty ridiculous if we just, like, looked at the crime scene and were like, yeah, I don't know, I guess he shot himself. Well, like, yeah, I guess the idea is, however the bullet hit him from his right side, there's initial splatter, and then he fell, and then the rest is after that.
Unlike the clock tower case, it seems doubtful a rope ladder was used here. There's no place to hitch a rope and no time to descend. It'd be super boring if the criminal used the same old trick.
We can't say for certain this wasn't
It's such a
repeat
stupid
performance,
justification.
But I think you might be right in this case. So, Shachi was cornered by the peacekeepers and committed suicide.
Nah.
Ah! They've broken through! This is what happens when you're so slow!
Who are you? What are you doing here?
I'm a locksmith, and no, wait.
Aren't you the wanted terrorist?
well about that.
It's a misunderstanding. I'm not a terrorist.
He's dead. So you fought among yourselves, huh? Terrorists murdering each other. You're all trash, out to ruin order.
This is going
Oh,
well.
I didn't do this.
Wait, are we going straight into the
For
mystery
later.
labyrinth?
You have no right to remain silent. No right to an attorney.
You have no right to an attorney.
Death and a terrorist together! Sounds like a dramatic match made in heaven!
I'm not a terrorist. I'm just a training detective.
That's right!
You know, if Fubuki was there, we
Where
could
are
have
you,
reversed
Fubuki?
time to see the murder, right?
There's a fork in the path.
Wait! Stop right there!
What do I do? Which way should I go? This way.
Okay, I tried to bring up the menu with the Y button, and that went right. I don't know why that's true. Oh, well, that's really bad.
No.
Found you! Look at the perfect straw before us!
Why are the
Thirsty, Dominic?
hateful TV anchors here?
Let's dunk his head in the river, then suck
What's
the
this
water
guy's
out
name?
from
He has like an
us.
amazing name. He's like Dominic Steel
You
Tank or
love turning
something.
terrorists into straws, right?
Oh no. There's nowhere to run.
Is there some way I'm supposed to know which way to go?
Huh? Did time rewind?
Ooh, wait, are we
It's just
perma-bound
like
to
we
hurt
held
power
hands.
just like people
Although I
get bound to
wasn't
the
able
mystery
clearly
labyrinth?
Recognize it.
Is that sheltered skink nearby?
Must be this way.
Thank goodness! Yuma, over here!
I feel like that could have just been a cutscene. I don't feel like much gets added to the game with you making a choice.
Come on!
I don't know if your choice is always wrong or what. I don't, it just doesn't seem... It just doesn't seem that interesting. Like, if the thing you want is for her to save the day, just make it a cutscene. This is like a... This is a thing that the, like, new style of Japanese, like, 3D visual novels seems to do consistently and always baffles me.
Could that terrorist have gotten away? Guess I don't have any other choice.
Then...
According to my fortune, today my lucky item should be a fool's right eyeball.
Man, here's another one of those questions, Demolition. Is Japan okay? Why do we keep taking people's eyeballs out of their heads? That's where they live. That's their home. Just leave them there.
Let's see. Now where can I find a fool? You better hurry and find that terrorist, or I'll turn you into my lucky item. Good luck, Dominic.
Dominic Fulltank. I want to be friends with Dominic Fulltank.
Get going, you idiot!
Gotta let the NATO machines in. I mean, you're not wrong, Letters. Uh-oh. She's looking at my Shinigami. She didn't buy me
That
dinner
was
first.
close.
Oh my god, Metal Gear. You did that way too quickly.
Thank you so much. You turned back time to save me.
I saw the peacekeepers were harassing you, so I went ahead and did it.
Thanks to you, I escaped their clutches. It's heartening to know I've got a partner like you.
Heartening? I was rather heartbroken. No matter how long I waited, it did not seem like you would return to me.
Now, I have two responses to that statement. One, I've been gone for like a month, so like, my bad, Fubuki, I'm sorry. On the other hand, in literal game time, it's been probably less than 10 minutes between the time we left her and the time we came back downstairs, so that feels a little dramatic.
I'm sorry. Something unexpected happened.
What happened?
Murder.
The client... is dead.
Huh?
He was still alive when I arrived, but after being chased by the Peacekeepers, he apparently shot himself in the head.
No, that's obviously wrong.
A suicide?
Seems like it.
Then it is my fault.
Huh?
If I had gone with you, I could have turned back time to
Hey,
save
she said the
him.
thing I said.
No. I think it would have ended the same way. Everything was already in motion from the moment we arrived in Doya District. So you shouldn't feel responsible for what happened.
I mean, I think a bigger issue is like even Superman in the continuity where he can turn back time by spinning around the globe backwards, and also being Superman with limitless superhuman abilities, could not use those powers to save literally everyone all the time. So you, like a wealthy heiress with limited time control abilities, like, you can't take on every responsibility. That's not reasonable.
Thank you. I feel relieved after hearing that. I cannot help but think I was responsible.
To be able to turn back time means she can even reverse death. That's a huge responsibility. It's too much for one person to shoulder alone.
Are we gonna propose again? We accidentally did it once.
I can't imagine all the regret and internal strife Fubuki must have dealt with.
Now's not the time to get sentimental. The countdown is still in motion.
Right!
Oh yeah, how much time do I have? 12 seconds.
With Shachi dead, I'm the only one who can stop them.
How much time is left?
15 minutes.
Let us hurry and disarm them. They say to strike while the bomb is hot. Let's stop them while we still can.
They don't say that. It's not important, but I need you to understand that that's not a thing that they say.
It's while the iron is hot. Never mind. The second location is the cafe in Ginma district. If it explodes, there's going to be casualties. We need to hurry and disarm it.
I mean, not necessarily, because Fubuki told everyone to go to, like, a different cafe and was, like, still in her waitress outfit, so everyone was like,
Yes. Let us do it. Hand in hand.
Oh, now that you mention it, is it okay for us to hold hands as we go there? Just in case?
But she's already demonstrated that she can... I mean, like, obviously she reverses time on a large scale. Like, not just to her or whatever. But, like, we still remembered what happened after the fact, even though we weren't holding her hand. So, like, it shouldn't actually be necessary to do that unless we're going to try and reverse time using her power through coalescence, which is our power.
There are still some Peacekeeper patrols around. I think it's safer if I can also use the power to rewind time.
Okay, that is the plan. I don't know how you signal to one another who's going to reverse time, but, like, I guess we might as well hold hands. What if we held hands while disarming some bombs?
Well, if you do not mind.
Didn't she kind of not like holding hands before?
So
I thought she was, like, against
interesting.
it before.
Lives are on the line in this emergency, but holding a friend's hand, strangely, it calms me down. Makes me feel like all will be well.
I feel the same way. Having a friend by your side is reassuring in times like these.
You've never said that to me, and we're soul buddies.
That's kind of because you're terrible, but also because we can't hold hands, Skullja.
Let us depart to the cafe in Ginma district.
Can we not do the minigame where I have to, like, avoid people stealth style? You're gonna make me do it, right? I tend not to be a huge fan of stealth sections. Mostly because, like, you're meant to intuit how well they can see you, or whatever. It always ends up being frustrating to me. I either assume that they're too good or too bad, and then the game tries to make me feel stupid for not knowing exactly how well they program the detection system in their stealth thing. Oh, we skipped it. Now we're just in Ginma district. That's fun.
You! There's the fugitive!
Oh my
Everyone,
god.
get over here!
Never mind. I thought we were doing a cutscene and immediately got punished for trying to scratch my nose. That's great. Love that.
this bad. This way!
What's wrong?
Never mind. Just my imagination.
Fine.
Hey, Spiny,
Let's
welcome
head
to
that
the
way
stream.
instead.
Yeah.
They're over there too.
Also, I never remember where the buttons on a Nintendo controller are. Because they don't color code them. I don't understand why.
Yuma, there is someone heading this way.
Hey! Over here! I saw someone suspicious!
Yeah, got it.
They literally can see us from where they are.
Fubuki, now's our chance to get out of here.
Right.
I literally can't stop looking at the screen. I'm really sorry, chat. But every time I look away, it's like, you have 2 seconds! But, like, literally, they could see us from there.
There it is. That's the second camera I set up.
If this one explodes, the cafe will be heavily damaged. I may lose my second home.
You live there? No, we don't have time for logistics. Hi, Ice Bunny, and thank you to Angel for gifting us up to Ice Bunny.
Not only that, depending on how strong the bomb is, it could affect all of Ginma District. We have to hurry
Could
and
it?
disarm it.
Could that extremely small device be so powerful that it would destroy this entire, like, neighborhood? Not saying it wouldn't cause damage or loss of life, but, like, you think it's going to blow up all of Ginma District?
In order to disarm the bomb, you must enter the passcode.
I shouldn't touch the bomb itself. I can disable it using the screen. Fubuki, stay back, it's dangerous. Please take care of things if I fail.
Sorry, I do need to draw attention to Shinigami right now. Because, like, Shinigami's stock as popular chat favorite character has dropped substantially since most of her dialogue has become being hostile towards women. But I do have to appreciate the fact that now she's just playing Curious Child and using her ghost finger to poke the bomb and kind of just see if anything happens. It's kind of like Child Groot at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
No, I shall stay here. We can try again, even if you fail.
I mean, if we're both in the immediate blast radius of it, that might not literally be true. I genuinely think it does make sense for you to stand, like a little further away.
But I can't control the screen while holding hands.
How about this?
Are you sure, Fubuki?
I have prepared for this moment since our adventure began. Concentrate on disarming the bomb, Yuma.
All right. Okay, no matter what, I need to disarm this before the time limit expires.
Don't make me a widowed death god. Good luck.
We're not married.
Calm down. Oh, deep breaths.
I don't like my odds. Select the correct answers in time to defuse the bomb. Incorrect answers or going over the time limit will cause the bomb to explode, so watch out. So it's like a pattern recognition thing. So this is like... So it's sort of going clockwise over here and counterclockwise over there. So the next one should be the bottom leftmost one, because that fits both patterns. Oftentimes the tutorial image it gives you is literally the first puzzle, which is cheating, but yeah, they do it pretty much every time.
Disarming code accepted. Detonation circuit severed. Confirmed. Detonation circuit severed.
Da-na-na-na.
It's disarmed! Success!
Wait, now we're not holding hands.
You did it! We saved the city!
There's like 2 more of these.
Wait, it's too early to celebrate.
Huh?
There are 2 bombs left. The next countdown has already started. But now the time limit is 45 minutes.
It really feels like this person saw, like, Virtue's Last Reward and is like, I mostly like that idea. How can I make it be about, like, a fall guy in a rainy city with a death god?
That is shorter than the last one, correct?
It's
Yeah, but we spent, like, a whole bunch of time
Almost
getting
like they're
implicated in
toying
murder.
with us.
So, like, we actually have, like, considerably more time than we did this time.
It's not almost.
Time.
They're absolutely toying with you. Otherwise, why make a minigame out of disarming bombs?
Because it's a video game, I really don't understand what the goal of whoever's truly behind this is. It feels very silly. $45 is a big number. 60 is a bigger number. I mean, like... I mean, they said we have less time this time, right? But, like, the thing is that when we had 60 minutes, we spent 45 of those minutes doing nonsense, and then came here with, like, 1 minute left over. Now, I'm not sure if narratively we're just gonna have to encounter more nonsense and then have a minute again, or what.
What's their goal in setting this up anyway?
I also like how silly Fubuki is. I mean, I think personally she's my favorite character in the game so far. Probably true.
I was given a fake request to set up the bombs, and now they're making me disarm them with puzzles.
But, like, what does that do for... Like, is the whole thing just to have made the Peacekeepers aware of you as the culprit so that they would chase you? Or are you just a distraction? Because, like, if you're truly disarming the bombs, like, why have you set them up in the first place? Yeah, I can see that, Sarah. I was actually wondering if you were still planning on doing Raincode cosplay, considering, as I said earlier, like, Shinigami's popularity stock has dropped considerably the longer we played this game. Like, I think the character had a lot of potential to be, like, a more better Aiba, and is definitely, like, a way worse Aiba. Like, it's one thing to just, like, kind of be, like kind of petulant or whatever. Like, Aiba has some, like, weird personality perks to her in the Somnium Files games. But, like, Shinigami's, like, actively hostile towards women in, like, a way that's, like, really gross. Like, really gross. Like, physically and, like, sexually and, like, personality shaming, just like all other women. It's, like, really unpleasant and sustained. They wanted her to be Aiba and Date. I don't even think it's that. I mean, on some level, I think there's something to that. But, like, they wanted it to be Aiba and Date at the same time, but, like, without, like, the charm of either, you know? Yeah, like, at this point, I think it's fair to say that Shin really drags the game down.
They knew they'd get even more heat, and yet still issued a criminal declaration.
What's concerning about the look, Neko? The just, like, completely terrified, sustained stare that Fubuki has?
What's their end goal? What are they trying to make me do?
This is the worst clue we've ever gotten. This clue is so stupid. It's not even a clue, it's like a thing we're supposed to investigate. Like, normally solution keys are like a weird quirk about how poison works so that you can use it later to be like, wait, that argument is false. But here it's like, your clue is like, I don't know. The clue is literally, I don't understand what's happening.
Yuma, was no one besides your client home at the Resistance's estate?
I don't know, it was full of cops and a bomb went off. Does that answer your question?
That reminds me, I don't think there was anyone else at the hideout.
You have no way of knowing that. And also, you literally saw the police there.
If they stayed there, they would have been caught.
If any of the late client's family were about, we could have asked them about the circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much family, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, right. The Resistance leaders must know something about this.
Well, the Resistance leader is dead. As far as we know, it had one leader, and he's dead now. I don't think we were ever explicitly told that there was, like, multiple cells or someone acting above Shachi or whatever.
But since they weren't at the hideout, I don't know where to find them. The one named Servan designated the camera locations. I've tried calling him on the transceiver, but there's no response.
I wonder
have no
why.
idea where he could be.
If they were planning to screw you over from the get-go, then that camera guy must have played a role in it.
You think she means the lower leaders? But the problem with that is, like, the lower leaders wouldn't necessarily have a plan because that hadn't been their job until Shachi died.
I don't know about that. Maybe he cooperated without knowing the circumstances, like me.
There you go, being a trusting doormat. If you're a detective, then you gotta suspect everybody.
Anyway, let's head
Even
to the
red
third bomb's
herring?
location.
Yes.
Where was the third one? Was the third one in... What's the Kamizaki district? What's the one we spent most of our time in? It's been a
The
while.
third one is in Kamisaki District.
Kamasaki
I
district.
hope the peacekeepers don't catch us before we get there.
Ugh, not this again. Alright, I'm gonna stop looking at chat and stare directly at my controller for a while. It's so much fun. It's very content. It's not hard, it's just annoying. It's... If all I was gonna do was focus solely on this, it wouldn't... There'd be like a... almost zero chance of failure, but like... Trying to interact with chat or like be interesting is like, oh no, now I'm like failing the task for no good reason. And then of course, it's like the loading times, the longer this game has got on, the loading times have become like more and more egregious. Like at first they didn't feel very bad. And like once we reach like this case, it takes like forever. It feels like I'm playing like a PS2 game or something. Yeah, we're definitely on the cruise again. Okay. They always also make... They clearly make eye contact with us first. I'm sorry, what's happening?
Now, take this.
I thought he was gonna kick it, so I didn't want to kick a brick. Because, like, if you kicked a brick, you would hurt yourself and then fall over.
You won't get away with this.
See, that's just stupid because I don't know what his intention is. To me, that camera was framed like I was going to kick it at him. And I maintain that you would not kick a brick without, like, a steel-toed boot or something. Huh? Limitations of hardware? Like, maybe, but it's like... This, like, the Switch isn't the most powerful console by any means, but, like... It still feels rough. It's not like the graphics are, like...
That was a nice pitch.
Now's our
completely top of the line or anything.
You bastards!
That seems like a weird response.
Move!
Damn you! Let me go!
Oh! Hey, wait! Help me!
Why would I do that? I appreciated that. I like how hard she thought about that.
Come on, we need to hurry.
Right.
Who's there?
Is it Shadow Link, but for Fubuki?
Shh. You're too loud. It's me.
Oh, it's, what's her name, Wendy? Kurumi Wendy?
I finally found you.
Hi, Kurumi Wendy. I'm still not sure how old I am as the protagonist.
Kurumi?
Push was definitely the help needed. Like, the thing that made that funny wasn't, like, there's something a little bit funny to him being like, help me, and then her, like, seemingly callously, like, tipping him over the edge. But to me, the fact that she thought really hard about it, when, like, is a pretty clear yes or no, like, that really did it for me. Because, like, either you could be like, no, I don't want to hurt him, or, like, alley-oop. But she was like,
What's the flat girl doing here?
See,
Your
this is just
school's
uncalled for.
already
Like, this doesn't
over.
help anyone.
I saw you on the news. You're a terrorist, Yuma?
Well, thanks for giving me the benefit of the doubt after I, like, basically saved your life and whatever.
No! It's a misunderstanding.
Also, I appear to be dating this woman now. Don't worry about it.
I know. I'd Never doubt my hero.
What a funny joke.
Why is she so friendly with you? Go away!
By the way, Yuma, despite everything going on, you're holding a woman's hand. Guess you're not too bothered by it.
Did we... Real talk, does anyone remember us refusing to hold her hand or something that makes this line seem important? Or is she just trying to gauge whether we're dating? I don't know.
No, this is a formality for the investigation, sort
But
of.
see, now Fubuki might get upset about that. We're in like a Three's Company scenario now.
Pleased to meet you. My name is
No, she
Fubuki.
doesn't care. It's Fubuki
I am
after
Yuma's
all.
partner.
Don't say it like that. That'll be a wacky anime misunderstanding.
Partner? Yes. In order to share time together, we clutch our hands tight to one another.
Now, strictly speaking, that's a weirdly precise and accurate way to say that. However, without context, that does sound weird and perhaps a touch insane. In order to share time together, we will hold hands.
Until Yuma dies. No, even in death, I am sworn to never let go.
See, like, Fubuki has, like, a great deal of care and, like, attention paid to the way her dialogue is written. This character is charming and catches me off guard routinely, despite the fact that I'm always expecting her to say something bonkers. Like, this is kind of the sort of thing I was hoping from Shinigami, but, like, instead, it's Fubuki, and, like, she's way better, and also has time powers. And we, like, hold her hand all the time? Like, she's a pretty good character. Also, he proposed earlier, but I'm merely a coffee peddler. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if some variation of that was the next thing that was said here, Sarah. But, like, again, just like following up on the previous line, remarkably accurate, but, like, shocking and unhelpful to a casual observer. We will hold hands until Yuma dies. No, even afterwards, we will continue to hold hands.
Please don't misunderstand. This is necessary for the investigation.
I'm sure it is.
So the high school girl is trying to date us then, right? Which is, again, concerning because I still am not entirely clear on what my own age is as an amnesiac anime character who could, by anime standards, be basically anywhere between middle school aged and, like, 40.
Look at you! Grinning while surrounded by girls. I hope pervy future criminal detectives like you all explode.
You are fully aware of how coalescence work. You're the one who told me about it. Remember that.
Oh wait, you are gonna explode soon!
Bomb joke. What a funny joke.
Ah, right! I need to disarm the bomb.
Huh? Bomb? There's another one?
Someone set us up the bomb.
Yeah, there's one right in front of us.
Ah!
This is a bomb? What's going on here?
There's no time, so I'll make it quick.
It's implied that we spent the next, like, 40 minutes talking about this so that we have a reason for there to be, like, a 1-minute timer on the
That's
puzzle.
everything.
I see. Yuma, you got dragged into a big mess.
Now, when you say that's everything, does that include the fact that she has time travel power? I mean, I guess in this world, like, forensic fortes are sort of a known quantity, although maybe less so in the Kanai ward, because this place, like, isolated itself from the rest of the world, whereas the World Detective Organization is sort of a known quantity everywhere else.
You really are a master
And that's
detective.
why we're getting
Trouble
married.
seems to seek you out. Everywhere you go, luck goes with you.
It can be good or bad.
I'm not lucky.
No, you're lucky. You're just the bad kind.
Hey, you've got me instead of luck.
You know, sometimes people will say it's better to be lucky than good, because luck can sometimes overcome skill, whereas skill can more narrowly overcome luck. I feel like I'd rather be lucky or good than have Shinigami
Not forever.
necessarily. That does sound like a bit of a threat, huh?
Anyway, So you only set up the bombs at those 4 locations?
Yeah, I only set up 4 bombs. That's fine and normal and no cause for alarm.
Yeah, why?
Interesting. So the flooding in Marunomon District probably has nothing to do with it.
I forget. Have we actually been to Marunomon District? Is Marunomon where the first bomb went off in the phone booth? Or is Marunomon the... No, wait. Is Marunomon, like, the district that Shachi is from that, like, flooded, but, like, in the past? So, like, present flooding doesn't seem like it'd be relevant?
Flooding?
Just a little while ago, a flood started in Marunomon District. Now it's over a meter underwater.
Could it be because of the first explosion?
I'm confused about this only because it's constantly, like, literally, a facet of this world is that in this city we're in, it has been raining non-stop for 3 years, and no one we've talked to understands why. We just acknowledge that it's constantly raining. Partially inspiring the title Raincoat. But, like, how does a place flood more than being under constant siege of water?
But the only damage back then was to the phone booth.
Okay, so that is
I
where
don't remember
the...
any pipes bursting.
Yeah, I went to see where the explosion took place. There wasn't much damage to the surrounding area. But if it has nothing to do with the bomb, why is there flooding in Marunomon District?
Could it have something to do with the fact that our submarine was blown up by a missile? I feel like it shouldn't. Yeah, I think we mentioned that when it first came up, but like Marunomon definitely sounds like a Digimon for sure. Oh wow, I'm assuming that I can't go back to Marunomon District if that's what it looks like.
Yuma, perhaps our concerns should be for the bomb at hand. I believe we are running low on time.
Right. We need to disarm that bomb right now. Kurumi, you need to get to someplace safe and hide.
Stupid headphones again.
All right, let's do this.
I'm gonna have to fix that in a minute for sure.
Yes, let's...
Alright, let's do... Oh, I hit auto advance. Let's do it. It's puzzle time. There's no audio for Vasco. Up, left, down. Presumably right. Okay, not a hard one. We had less time for that, but sure. Got some more detective points.
Disarming code accepted. Detonation circuit.
This is really annoying. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna fix this. Can I do this without getting up? I don't think so. I don't think so. You jostle it a little bit, sometimes it works, but it's not... Just... Hold on.
It's somewhat effective!
No!
I really miss that stupid intermediary soundbox that made this much more reasonable to manage. The stupid the stupid extender to the TV is like clearly busted, but like I don't have any other means to like get sound of the TV to me without listening to it at a volume that disrupts what you hear from the room, which is already disrupted by the extremely loud air conditioner I can't do anything about because I live in California and would die, but it doesn't actually cool the apartment. So, like, it's just really annoying. It's, like, the most annoying.
Confirmed. Detonation circuit severed.
I
don't like
managed to
the
disarm
word
it.
choice of severed.
There's only one left.
Severed is just, like, a bad word. Does anything good ever get severed, really?
Wait, Kurumi, you were here? Why didn't you run away?
Oh, is that what I was supposed to do? I just kind of forgot.
I want to do my part too.
What do you think your part is? Being collateral damage? What? You didn't even provide moral support.
While you disarmed the bomb, I was thinking the whole thing over.
Okay, go on.
And I'm sure of it. Something must be happening behind the scenes here.
I mean, duh? What's more appropriate, duh or no duh?
Huh? What do you mean?
The strange request you were given is one thing, but isn't this Shachi guy dying also bizarre?
No, I'm fully convinced it was just coincidental suicide for no reason.
That criminal declaration being immediately sent to the Peacekeeper seems out of place too. All that does is hurt the Resistance's plans.
Well, clearly their plan isn't for the bombs to go off. I mean, for all we know, none of the rest of them will even explode. We're just being given, like, an interface as sort of like a farce.
That's right, but...
When laying out the facts on the surface, if something seems inconsistent, then there must be a hidden truth.
Yeah, I mean, like, she's probably a better detective than we are. Now, in fairness, we lost all our memories when we made a deal with the Death God. Which, you know, are bad, for sure.
I'm just repeating what my grandpa said, but I think it applies to this case.
We need a well duh button. Like, what would the source for that be?
I see. I can't accept Shachi's death. I refuse to believe he would try to frame me and destroy the city. He didn't seem like the type who'd do that.
So we have to investigate. I'll go and check out the Resistance's hideout.
Huh?
You'll do what? You'll what, mate?
You can't go there. The Peacekeepers are all over Doya District.
But I am a high school girl, and because we're following Japan rules, I can basically do whatever I want. I might even be a magical girl. Who knows?
I'm Kanai Ward's best informant. I'll absolutely get any info that will help you solve the case.
Wait, you can't go there alone, Kurumi. It's too dangerous.
Well, if it's dangerous to go alone, just give her a sword. It worked for Link.
Don't worry. It's not the first time I've taken risks. Once I'm done, we'll meet up at the hotel in Kamasaki District. The master detectives are staying there, right?
Wait a minute. Does she already know where all our friends are and we haven't figured that out? She's so much better at this than we are. It's really stupid. That's true. She is also the only informant as far as she or anyone else knows, Sarah. That's true.
I'm up.
Wait, Kurumi!
Please clock that. Please clock that, Yuma. Please don't make this even dumber.
There she goes. She sure seems lively.
Okay, I'm pretty sure we didn't clock that, which is disappointing to
I'm
me.
a little... No, I'm really worried for her. But I have no choice except to trust her right now.
Is that really okay? Well, I guess it can't be helped.
Anyway, we need to handle the next bomb. The countdown has already started.
This one was 12 seconds!
This one is 30 minutes. The
Oh,
time
no.
got even shorter.
I gotta tell you, so, like, the whole notion of, like, changing the amount of time that we have to get to each bomb is completely undermined by the fact that we exist solely in cutscenes between them. Like, there's functionally no difference. He could, like, literally say, like, the next one is 4 days away. And then if we have, like, the same, like, quick time event sequence to get to the next one, like, it just doesn't matter. Right? Like...
Is the next bomb in a secret shrine in the middle of a desert?
That's clearly false. You were here for it. I'll admit that off the top of my head, I don't remember where the fourth one is. Which I should. But it's definitely not that thing you said.
No, it's in the shrubbery at Etheria Academy. Let's go disarm it.
That's right. That's where we had to save before the game was, like, inexplicably like, if you do this, you'll advance to the case. And I was like, how is that possible?
Oh, hold on. That's... I just remembered.
Weep Grana Weep Ninibong?
One of the resistance leaders said he had a shop in Kamasaki District.
Did he? Is that the old guy with the ridiculous name I can't remember? The, like, tax guy?
Shop in Kamasaki District.
We might be able to find resistance members there.
Oh my god. That's... That's almost as bad as that flashback in Somnium Files where Peter's like, do you remember the time that I told you? And then he says like a really long specific thing. And then they still flash back and show you him saying that. And it's like, it's irrelevant whether I did or not. You've now told me twice.
We still have 30 minutes, so I think we can make it in time. Should we go pay him a visit?
This... Again, the time limit is completely meaningless, but at the same time, real talk, if you are in this situation, you believe that you are, like, an accessory to terrorist activity in this city, and you are now solely responsible for disarming bombs that you planted around the city. And you have a time limit of, like, 30 minutes to get to an entirely separate part of the city, solve a puzzle, and stop that bomb from killing untold number of people, causing untold damage to the city. And you're like, I could pay that old guy a visit and ask him about my taxes. Like, are you serious? Are you doing that? I'm not. I'm not doing that.
Of course. Adventurers and detectives both seek out the truth.
That isn't a justification for that.
But where is this shop you speak of?
Wait, what kind of shop did Margalaw say he owned?
Margalaw. That's not a name.
The old guy who said he hated Amaterasu, right? Probably some old guy shop.
Isn't he like an accountant or something? He's like some sort of like administrative money guy, I think.
An old guy shop? Let's look around and see if anything fits that description.
Oh, I can't tell you how much I hate this.
Ah.
Was Yuma startled by that transition that we've maybe used like one other time in the game? This case is like off the rails. Like this case was clearly created by someone who like didn't have knowledge of what the other cases in this game looked like. Oh my god. My headcanon, they're gonna say whatever they want about this, but my headcanon is that Yuma mused out loud like, let's look around and see if we can find him. And then just he and Fubuki like spontaneously transported into this shop for reasons unknown, and everyone involved was completely startled because no one knows why or how that happened.
See? That sure looks like an old guy shop. I was totally right.
I mean, I feel like an old guy shop would like sell Werther's originals and ill-fitting robes or something. I'm not sure this like big vase shop is an old man shop, but okay.
Hey, relax. I'm not going to hurt you. I just want to talk.
Yeah, you're not here to kill me?
See, I feel like this bodes poorly for everyone involved that that's his assumption. I mean, I guess there's some chance that he's responding to, like, the news feed that declared us public enemy #1. But, like, this feels to me like he knows that the Resistance wronged us or whatever.
Kill you? Of course not. Why would you think that?
You probably think the Resistance framed you.
Uh-huh.
And you didn't? The request Shachi gave me has made me a suspect for terrorism.
I know nothing about those bombs. I really don't.
Just because you don't know about them doesn't mean that the Resistance did not set us up, okay, Margalaw?
You don't know?
Listen. Sure, I'd love to see Amaterasu get blown up.
Same.
But I wouldn't take advantage of someone uninvolved. Revenge must be taken with our own hands, or it's meaningless.
You may feel that way, but other members of the Resistance may feel differently.
I manage all the funds. If this was planned by the team, there's no way I wouldn't have heard about it.
I don't know, maybe the bombs were made on the cheap.
This bombing is completely unrelated to the Resistance. The only possible explanation is Shachi acted on his own.
I don't know, man. I still feel like we're splitting hairs here. Shachi is part of the Resistance as far as I'm concerned.
Shachi? But Shachi committed suicide on the roof of your hideout.
I keep constantly confusing Shachi and Servan for some reason. Servan's the one I'm thinking of when I say that. Shachi, like, clearly also patsy for this whole scenario. But Servan may have been acting on, like, as a rogue agent here, but, like, he's still responsible and definitely part of the resistance.
What? Shachi's dead? That's impossible.
Now, I have, like, 6 solution keys about this.
It's true. I found his body. The Peacekeepers were chasing him before he shot himself in the head with his own gun.
That didn't happen. Asterisk, that didn't happen.
That's not possible. Even if he was cornered, Shachi isn't the kind who'd kill himself. Wait. Hold on. Did you say with his own gun?
Is there something I should know about it?
Yeah, we made him a custom gun that loads for the wrong hand and also doesn't work. Because we didn't want him to shoot anyone.
I think so. After you left the hideout to do the job, something happened.
Oh, I so desperately want him to tell me, like, a really boring work story about how, like, 2 of the people in the Resistance got in an argument over one of them, like, microwaving fish or something. And then he's like, and that brings us to today. And we're like, what are you talking about, old man?
Shachi had just returned to the office after mediating a fight.
Oh, he's like a referee for MMA?
After that was done, he put the gun back in the safe and securely locked it.
Now, I remember there's something weird about the safe. It has, like, a time lock. Anyone remember how long the time lock is? Is it something preposterous, like a whole day or something? Yeah, obviously the fish microwaver should die. Obviously, Demolition. We live in a society.
So what?
You sure are dense. Are you really a detective?
No. We're arguably a trainee detective, but barely that.
What if Shachi's death was not a suicide, but a homicide?
No, we're really meant to have not thought of that up until now, huh?
You think someone else took Shachi's gun from the safe and shot him?
If that's the case, there aren't many people who can open that safe.
I thought the whole thing was the safe was the time lock was the primary deterrent. I mean, I guess presumably it also has a combination or whatever. It says when they were in office, someone intentionally microwaved fish once per week. My office also had someone who did it at least that often. Pretty much right up until work from home started with the pandemic.
There's still a chance Shachi took the gun out himself and maybe had it taken from him.
She was extremely popular, though, and so everyone just sort of pretended it wasn't happening.
No, the chances are far too slim, because Shachi would never draw his gun. Since the gun was concealed, don't you think it'd be difficult to take it from him? Even if you were up close?
This guy, like, has no idea what the circumstances were at the scene of the crime. This seems like a peculiar argument to try and make.
It's true, he didn't draw his gun in front of me. In fact, it even seems like he actively avoided doing so.
Well, like, you have no way to know if he would behave that same way under whatever the circumstances were, because you weren't there on the roof when it happened either.
The safe was only recently brought to the office. Not many people know how to open it. Only the leaders in the hideout at the time knew anything about it.
Are we suddenly for real claiming that, like, everyone that we know in the Resistance are the leaders? I don't know, I just, like, for some reason, I just, like, subconsciously resent this whole, like, Resistance plotline. Why are you in an antique shop? No, Neko, this is obviously an old man shop. And the answer is because we only have 30 minutes to defuse the bomb, so we thought we'd talk to an old man to see if he could tell us about crime. It makes perfect sense to somebody, but it's not me. See, we gotta stop saying stuff like resistance leaders until we define what that is, because that's a useless clue to me until I understand who counts as a leader in this group of 5 people.
The leaders of the hideout were...
Neko says it's not a very good old man shop. There's only one for sale. I mean, I said something similar when we got here, but I don't think it was as funny as that.
Icardi?
So we are saying that everyone is a leader. Okay. So, rather than them being leaders, can we just say it's like a democracy and they're all members of the resistance? Like, this just feels ridiculous to me.
Servan, Iruka, and you, Margala.
Like, literally the only people I trust even a little bit are Margala and Shachi. And I don't especially trust Margala. He just seems less likely to, like, actively try to kill me than the other ones. Servan I definitely don't trust. Veruca Salt or whatever, Gunhaver. The lady? Absolutely don't trust that lady. She was just, like, constantly talking about how much she just wanted to shoot people. Like, indiscriminately. Definitely do not trust that lady.
I had nothing to do with it. I returned to the store after you left the hideout and spoke to customers the whole time.
Really? Bring several of them in here as witnesses, and then we'll just wait out that whole bomb explosion situation.
If you suspect me, then talk to them. I'm no liar.
I was joking. Please don't actually make me do that. That will make me upset.
So he has an alibi. I'd like to check what
Oh
the
my
customers
God.
say, but...
Yuma, we are low on time.
I'm sorry, Fubuki, just a bit longer. Margala, do you know where the other leaders are?
The name Margala makes me irrationally mad. It just, like, doesn't sound like a name of a person. Like, every time he says that, I'm just, like, immediately, like, broken out of any immersion I have for the situation. I'm like, stop calling a human being Margala.
I don't know. I haven't gone back to the hideout since.
What can you tell me about the other leaders?
You want me to sell out my comrades?
Yes! At least one of them is definitely trying to have me killed. And framed for multiple crimes. So yes, I want that.
If only the leaders could have taken the gun and murdered Shachi, then they're all suspects. If one of them did murder Shachi, wouldn't you want to know? After all, that's why you told me about Shachi's gun, right?
Fine. I'll tell you.
Who should I ask about?
Start by asking about him in a confusing fashion.
Can you tell me about yourself, Margala?
I still suspect you of crimes.
Me? I'm just an ordinary old man. If anything, I was a former Amaterasu employee. I mentioned this before, but I handled the financials.
About the alibi you mentioned, can you prove it in any way?
I just told you! I was speaking to customers. You want me to bring them over?
No, I don't have time.
Hey, wait a minute. Am I out of my goal? Or is there like a row of upside down umbrellas over there? There was like a rusted umbrella on the rooftop where Shachi died. I'm not saying that necessarily implicates Margala with his real, definitely not made up factual Earth name, but like, that seems odd. I mean, like, as far as we have known so far, I mean, like, the town is constantly raining, yes, but we've seen like one like rain gear store, which seems preposterous, but like is the sort of thing you would contrive into this world. And like coincidences and crime solving don't really mix well. I don't know if that's intentional, but it strikes me as suspicious.
Then check the shop security camera. The footage is all here, unharmed.
Yeah, it looks like at least two, maybe three are missing. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely possible he just didn't have a full inventory, but like, again, coincidences and crime solving? Ice Bunny, I think you and I are on the same page. I'm suspicious.
Here's the footage. Take it with you.
Thank you.
Given that confidence, I bet his alibi is legit.
Yeah.
It could be a really good bluff. Security footage from Margala's shop. He was talking to a customer at the time of the crime. Now, I will not be shocked if at some point we're able to review this footage properly and see, like, one of the other leaders get sold an umbrella, and then that ties into the murder or something. I keep wanting to forget about Anime Waluigi.
Can you tell me about Icardi?
He was originally a competitive swimmer. He's proud of his physical prowess and works as a delivery man.
Now, he is like a swimmer, right? I mean, like, maybe that ties into, like, why Marunamon is flooded now?
I heard Shachi himself invited him to join the Resistance.
Even Shachi himself couldn't invite him to the
He's
Resistance.
an athlete? Do you have more details about that?
I don't know
No.
much more than that. Though he
Want
did
a
say he was
trophy?
good at any sport that requires diving into water.
So, swimming. There's not like a tremendous amount of depth to that category. I mean, like, water polo, I suppose. But, like, it's not like it'd be one thing to be like, I'm good at any sport that involves a ball. It's like, oh, that's like a pretty high percentage of sports. He's like, he's good at anything that involves literally just swimming in water. It's just swimming in water.
He's also intelligent and good at what he does, but seems apathetic toward other people.
That's dangerous. He used to compete. He's likely good at it. I mean, we are taking his word on it.
Can you tell me about Servan?
Would you say surfing involves diving into water, Ice Bunny? I suppose you could make the argument. I kind of don't think of it that way. I mean, you do... You definitely swim. I just don't feel like you, like, dive into water to do that. Not, like, intentionally. You might get dunked into water because you don't land your surf. Very hip with the lingo.
He manages all the mechanical tinkering for the Resistance. Although security devices are his specialty,
He's also good at bombs. Wait a minute.
he also knows how to make bombs.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah.
Bombs?
He originally specialized in them. But I doubt he'd do anything flashy, given his personality.
I am deeply suspicious of that. At what point a wave will get you in splat? Yeah, but, like, I don't know. Diving to me suggests, like, intention. Like, you are trying to go from not in the water to in the water with direct intent and velocity. Just getting knocked in the water does not strike me as diving. This is not a meaningful distinction. It's just a philosophical discussion at this point.
He tends to be a shut-in and was bullied in the past.
Yeah, because people who were bullied in the past, they never lash out with violence or destruction or anything. That's never... Luckily, there's no precedent for that sort of thing, so I'm sure that Servan's on the level.
I heard a classmate pushed him into an irrigation channel in Marunamon District as a prank some time ago.
Oh, and so, like, he has a traumatic past experience with those negative feelings of being bullied in one of the places that suffered damage as a result of the staged terrorist attack. Specifically, the only one that's actually suffered direct damage and now is flooded. Huh. Yeah, again, it's just a real good thing that people never, like, lash out when they're bullied. Whew.
He miraculously survived, but he was knocking on death's door for 3 days. He
That's
didn't
not a prank.
speak to
That's-
anyone for a few years after that. Machines were his only friends.
That makes me think of the running trend in the show New Girl, where, like, one of the characters really liked doing pranks but could never scale them appropriately. And so all of his pranks were either just, like, nothing, like, they just were so pointless they didn't affect people in any way, or were, like, absurdly dangerous or harmful for no reason. They're like, yeah, that prank where he almost drowned and was hospitalized for multiple days. Sir, that's not a prank, that's something else.
Even now, he's traumatized from that close call drowning. He told me he still has flashbacks about it.
Saban is good at mechanical tinkering of all kinds and specializes in security devices, but also makes bombs. Saban once nearly drowned in an irrigation channel, which caused him lasting trauma. Tell me about Gun Haver. I'm not sure I truly appreciated the fact that she has like a smoking gun tattooed onto her chest. Girl is for real about her guns.
Can you tell me about Iruka?
It's funny, he says that she tried surfboard mass smacked her in the head as a kid. Made the beach in front of the place. The beach in front of the place we stood. Surfer Beach. So basically you tried surfing and the board got away from you? I don't know, man. I definitely don't like water enough to try surfboarding myself. I do not like the water.
The only woman leader in the Resistance. She's unruly, with no glamour or charm.
Could we save these backhanded compliments for, I don't know, like a handful of male characters in this game? I'm genuinely pretty troubled at this point about how much, like, passive misogyny just, like, hangs out in this game. It's a lot.
She has a ruthless personality, too. I hear she was once a competitive shooter. She and Shachi often trained with firearms together.
That's right, Neko. I don't really like to go down there because you might get wet.
I might get wet down there.
I still haven't fixed the soundboard, but I wanted that button. It's the only one I added back. Demolition says, after my time in surfboard heaven, I feel that 90% of surfing is sunbathing and smoking weed. What is surfboard heaven?
As you know, Shachi never tried to rely on his gun.
Venice. Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, someone else was surfing Ice Bunny and they lost their board and it hit you in the head? That's like crazy messed up. That's terrible. Hotel bikes literally had surfboard attachments on them. Well, they know their audience, I guess, Demolition.
What do you mean by competitive shooting?
Handguns,
She told us about this,
sniping,
didn't she?
Clay pigeons, rifles. She's an athlete who can use... Shachi's gun was specially made. It was designed by Iruka.
For crimes?
It's ironic that it was used to take his life.
I don't think that's irony. No, I think that's something else. This is useless information, because Naruka spent like 20 minutes telling us about how much she loves guns, and that she would marry one if she could, and that, in fact, even though she can't, she's still considering doing it because she really loves Gun, and if Gun told her to shoot, she would do it unconditional. Some of that is embellishment, but, like, it's pretty much the conversation we had with her. So this just being like, she shot competitively, I'm like, that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's an understatement. Also, I feel like this was already strongly implied by a clue we had, but sure, fine, whatever. By the way, that bomb's already exploded.
About their leaders. I want to hear more, but...
It seems like we got information. We've been having a conversation for several minutes about this, and it seems like we learned something, but there's actually no way to know for sure.
Shouldn't you be thinking about the case after you disarm the bomb?
No, I've decided no,
If you
apparently.
fail to disarm it, you'll turn into dirty fireworks.
That's a really grisly way of putting that. That's probably technically correct.
Right. Let's go and disarm the bomb now. Margala, thank you for the information. If any of the Resistance leaders come here, please mention I'm looking for them.
Will do. At any rate, you better believe Amaterasu's pulling the strings on this one, too. I hope you can upstage them on behalf of Shachi and me.
I'm not sure upstaging them is the thing that I want or need.
The last bomb is in a secret fort on top of a snowy mountain, right?
You know what? At this point, I've lost track, so that sounds about right.
No, it's in the shrubbery at Etheria Academy. Let's hurry. We can't let it explode.
Now, strictly speaking, we could. That's all I'm gonna say. We probably shouldn't. It's ethically wrong to let it explode, but could we? Yes, we could do that. And then, like multiple hours of loading screen to get to probably another stealth quick time thing. Am I back in Ginma District?
Hurry up and turn green.
Hey, don't move!
At this rate, we will be caught.
We have to go now.
Good.
This is bad.
Okay, I hit the left stick. I was not... They keep changing the parameters of what things are allowed to do in the quick time events, so, like, you can never actually learn what you're doing.
Don't move!
At this rate, we will be caught.
We have to go now. This is bad. This way.
Did exactly the same thing the first time.
Touchdown!
That's not how that sport goes.
Are you all right, Fubuki?
Yes, I believe I could carry on.
Oh, damn
It'd
it!
be really funny if she was just like, no, I'm like, leave me behind. I don't actually know how many points you can get from that. I think I've gotten like one incorrect button prompt every time, and I genuinely feel like almost every time there's some gotcha element to it, so it's a little frustrating. No, it's definitely not a crowded street for pedestrians or cars, but that's mainly because we spent all of our budget making the loading screens longer and not actually making the environments feel lived in. I know I'm being a little mean, but the loading screens are super long, and we already cut corners on like what we're rendering, so it feels silly that it takes quite as long as it does. You really should have been skeptical of putting a security camera here in the first place. This is a weird location.
Changed.
This is the last bomb. We still have time, so please remain calm.
All right, this time I have audio. Let's do this. So there's a point, and then a blank side, and then... It's kind of an educated guess. I only parsed about 2/3 of the cube.
Detonation circuit severed. Confirmed. Detonation circuit severed.
Oh, wonderful. It's disarmed.
Which arm?
Oh, it came off.
My heartbeat must have stopped.
Congratulations, Yuma! You have graduated from being a terrorist.
Fubuki, are you sure we can't, like, accidentally get married? Can we just, like, turn back time and do that? That sounds great. We'll just... I don't know what a normal person's response to this is, but I am looking forward to Yuma's, even though it probably won't be that good.
Wait, is that it?
Just ignore it. Okay, that's fine. You know what? I bet she gets that a lot, to be honest.
Doesn't this seem too easy? The screen is pitch black and won't turn on. After all that noise about the revolution, there's no closing message.
What is the matter, Yuma? You look like the chief when he misses the chance to have a meat bun.
I mean, this whole thing is clearly a goose chase of some description. I don't know if they were specifically trying to get the peacekeepers to come after us instead of wherever they are doing whatever it is they're doing. But, like, they definitely want us out of the way and want attention drawn elsewhere. Now, granted, as usual, the peacekeepers are doing just, like, an absolutely miserable job. Oh, disarm. Okay, great. Thank you, Neko. I was actually a little confused about that for a minute there. Thank you.
I'm surprised it came off so easily. I was prepared to be strung along by this game a bit longer than this.
I can't help but feel like this is somehow meant to be some commentary on the Zero Escape franchise. I doubt that it is, but it just feels like it is.
Perhaps this is the fairness and equality that the terrorists yearn for?
I'm not gonna... No, I don't think so. I think it's something else.
You won in a fair game. Your opponent must admit defeat.
Yeah, them's Yu-Gi-Oh! Rules. Those don't typically apply anywhere other than the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where, like, you can set whatever stakes you want for a card game, and only the most despicable people in existence would even attempt to not honor the deal once the game is concluded.
I hope that's the case.
How is this fair? There's nothing fair about it.
Well, Ice Bunny says there was only minor water damage at the family summer home with the recent rainstorm. Water was all the way behind the building. So, like, I assume then that the house isn't typically, like, extremely close to the water. I mean, like, maybe close to the water, but, like, the water line doesn't come up to it. Building to the right got totally destroyed inside and out. Well, I mean, for one, yikes forever. But also, Ice Buddy, I'm glad that you avoided that fate. You hate to hear that.
You were framed as a terrorist and forced into a game you didn't agree to. Would someone who does cowardly stuff like that also admit defeat so easily?
So you're saying disarming all the bombs doesn't mean our opponent has lost? If that's the case, what was the point of the bomb threat? What was I being made to do?
It's not clear to me, like, what... Because we set the devices in the first place, it's hard for me to immediately think of another goal that could come from sending us back to them. If they were unrelated and they were just sending us to specific locations, I might try to, like, figure out the connection between the locations, but, like, they had already managed to send us to each of those 4 places where a bomb was planted, and we put the devices there in the first place. So it's not even like we observed the devices and they needed something on us to, like, passively transmit information or something. Like, I feel like it's something Goose Chase, man.
Fubuki,
We'd be playing a goose
I
game.
don't think this is over yet.
Huh? Are there more bombs?
No, I think this string of terror acts using the bombs needs to be reconsidered. We still haven't figured out the mastermind behind this case.
So now we face whoever is behind this terror conspiracy? I have been waiting for this moment. Now we are in an adventure detective story. Where do we start our investigation?
That reminds me. I promised I'd meet Kurumi at the hotel. Fubuki, let's head to the hotel in Kamasaki District for now.
Alright, and so our investigation adventure begins.
I like that it can't just be an investigation or an adventure. It has to be a jacket coat. It's both of them. It's an investigation adventure. Still holding hands. It's very cute. You probably know I have a weakness for this, because Wally is one of my favorites. I just want the robots to hold hands. It's very important to me. They are both cute and a couple. Several hours later. And, like, sometimes it doesn't even bring up, like, the tooltips. Like, there's multiple different stages of long loading screen. Well, Tek and I occasionally hold hands when it's important for the case we're working on, but that rarely happens these days.
Wow, I feel much more relieved being back at the hotel.
Wait a minute. Is this even dumber than I thought it was before? It can't be that dumb. Like, Fubuki was, like, specifically saying that all our friends were dead and we were the only ones alive. She couldn't be staying here at the hotel with the rest of them and, like, fail to mention that to us and, like, specifically tell us that the opposite is true, right? Like, that would be unreasonable.
I rarely ever run around like this, so I am feeling quite winded.
Well, let's rest on the sofa until Kurumi arrives. I hope she's okay.
Don't stand, sit on a sofa.
Hold on, I'm gonna check out this piano.
Olivia is usually here, but he hasn't returned yet. I hope he's safe.
I'm looking for points. Hold on a second.
What if the flat girl and the sheltered skank are both plotting to kill you?
Are you trying to
That were to happen,
be
I'd solve the
paranoia
case in a
incarnate?
jiffy.
I doubt that's gonna happen.
I'm not sure there's any more points. I want them. I'm kind of close to leveling up. It might be enough for me to buy a useless skill, but probably not at this stage of the game. Hello? Are my friends alive? You appear to be safe. It seems like the city's in some kind of turmoil.
Aw,
Guess he doesn't watch the news. He missed your big screen debut, Master. I wonder how he'd react if he knew there was a terrorist right in front of him. Like I keep saying, I'm not a terrorist. See, that was worth the whole 5 points. See, now I'm confused because Kurumi Wendy definitely very strongly implied that the other master detectives would be here. But for multiple reasons, that does not seem to be true. Where did he go?
Yuma! Fubuki! Thanks for waiting!
I was kind of looking at chat. It seemed like she just phased into existence and didn't actually approach us. Yeah, getting some additional layer of flood protection for the summer house would be good, Ice Bunny. But again, glad that you at least managed to weather the literal storm for now.
Kurumi! I'm glad you're okay. We just got here ourselves. How was your investigation at the hideout? Did everything go okay?
It's not one of those situations where my brain just goes like a weird comedic situation. Where, like, it'd be really funny if Kurumi Wendy showed up to this meeting and she's like, how'd everything go with the bomb? I assume you disarmed it. And we're like, oh no, several people died. Several. But we made it out okay.
Yeah, it went great. Looks like you took care of the bombs on your end. By the way, you don't need to hold hands anymore.
I just, like, it's... Like, listen, Kurumi Wendy as a character seems like kind of a fun, like, love interest of, like, the extremely, like, optimistic person who has, like, similar, like, goals and skills to us, and so, like, they can act as an ally. But, like, the fact that she's a high school girl makes it a little uncomfortable that, like, we're leaning on this weird thing where she's acting jealous. Like, I know that that could still happen, even if it wasn't, like, a mutually consensual relationship and she just imagined it a certain way. But, like, we already have so much stuff we're overcoming with Shinigami. I don't know that we need this. Yuma's a child, though. Yuma looks like a child, but I don't know. I'm not entirely sure if the game has told me how old he is. It implies he's an adult, but, like, he definitely looks like he's 12.
I told you, it's for the investigation.
I know, I'm just teasing.
See, if this was true, like, hardcore anime, then, like, every time we said something like that, Fubuki would get upset, and then we'd have to equivocate even further and find some weird middle ground where everyone was a little mad at us, and we definitely didn't make our case.
teasing my master is worthy of a vicious boom kill.
That doesn't seem true.
So did you find anything out?
Yeah, I mean, I said something like this earlier, but Litters is completely right. If they look 12, they're actually 1,304 years old. Just general anime rules. And, like, completely not wrong. But, like, that's the dilemma I have with this thing, where they kind of want there to be this weird romantic tension between Yuma and Kurumi Wendy. And, like, again, like, you could play it as, like, an actual romance, or you could play it as a thing where she's, like, a high school girl who's just, like, impressed with him being a detective, and he sort of saved her in one of the previous cases. So, like, there's multiple ways to play it. It doesn't even literally have to be, like, a romantic relationship. But, like, generally, I just get a little bit uncomfortable every time it comes up, even though there's, like, kind of a fun dynamic there, just because, like, I don't know how old he is, but I know she's in high school. I know it. Isn't there a bio? I mean, there might be a bio tab for... there may not be one for us because we're the protagonists. I do keep forgetting to check. They say he's 19. They say he's 19? Where does it say that, Sarah? Is that in the bio? Still looks like he's 12, even if he's 19.
The peacekeepers were scouring the hideout, but no one was inside the building itself.
They're doing their job.
Sneak in, but I didn't find any documents or evidence. Maybe all the important stuff is inside that safe.
Oh, the one that looks really sturdy?
I was unable to.
You mean
open
the
it,
one safe?
But I couldn't come back empty-handed.
The people who made it. But, like, where are you seeing that? Did you just do, like a Wikipedia check or something, Sarah? Late bloomer. Yeah, I think he's gonna hit puberty any decade now, right, Lars?
So
Then maybe
I
he'll look
copied
like an
security
adult.
Camera footage.
This is so weird. This is our second, like, acquisition of, like, footage. And, like, I don't think there's ever been, like, any system in place in this game to, like, to use something like that.
It's the video from the emergency stairs. I saw you in the footage, so I grabbed it just in case.
But, like, just for those of you less initiated in the world of anime, like, there's also, like, a weird thing that anime does sometimes where, like, because of, like, the anime style, sometimes age looks kind of ambiguous. And, like, there will be times when, like, someone who's, like, clearly sub-teenage, they're like, yeah, they're 19, and you're like, oh, are they? Okay.
That's great, Kurumi. I wanted to check that footage anyway.
No problem. Informants are all about give and take.
What's the going rate for that security footage?
Then how about I take your life?
Just, like, I feel like this is supposed to be a funny joke. Do you think that this is funnier in, like, the way it's phrased in the original Japanese or even just in Japanese culture? Because, like, this just isn't, like, I don't know, the context doesn't, like, I'm not even, like, opposed to, like, jokes where, like, kind of an angry character threatens violence in a way that's, like, not serious. But, like, it just doesn't come across like a joke to me. And, like, if it's not a joke, then, like, at best, it's character development for making Shinigami, like, an actual psychopath. Which, in turn, like, yeah, she's a death god, but, like, she's also supposed to be my kind of de facto partner. The Max to my Sam. Which is genuinely the first detective partnership that comes to mind. Because I'm weird like that. But, like, it's just, I don't want to be friends with her. I want to hold Fubuki's hand.
Let's check the video right now. I'll borrow a device from the front desk.
I feel like it'd be funnier if it was her Max jealousy. Like, I feel like there's a way you could play it. But, like, I feel like she would need to... Yeah, I think this is kind of similar to what you're saying, Sarah. But, like, I feel like her baseline would have to be less aggressive. It would have to be, like, a case like this where it seems like maybe Kurumi Wendy is, like, saying something flirtatious. And her response is like, I'm gonna kill you! But, like, normally she's kind of more level-headed. But, like, at this stage of the game, like, Shinigami's reaction to just, like, woman existing is be like, she's flat-chested and terrible and is ruining your life and is bad for your teeth and she smells bad and just, like, any bad thing you can think of, she's that. And it's like, I don't know what to do with that. None of that's jokes. None of that's interesting. Yeah, you're kind of right, anime. Like, it's definitely like a yandere thing, but, like, I just don't, like, again, I feel like I've seen yanderes that are, like, effective, and I don't feel like this is effectively done, even for that fairly particular Japanese style of character. Yeah, we definitely escalated too hard too early, and there's no way to, like, dial it back reasonably, so we're just stuck at, like, 14 out of 5 now. Oh, she's gonna borrow a plot device from the front desk so that we can watch all the security footage? There you are, doing crimes.
The video is Yuma.
I went to the roof following Shachi. The Peacekeepers were blocking the indoor stairs, so I used the emergency stairs on the outside. But halfway up, I heard a gunshot, so I ran up the stairs.
I also heard an explosion.
That's when I saw Shachi's body.
I fast-forwarded to the relevant footage, but it doesn't seem like anyone else used the emergency stairs.
There was one gunshot, and only Shachi was on the roof. He was even holding the murder weapon.
I'll say this, despite the fact that this game is fairly openly misogynistic, at the same time, I can't think of all that many, like, mystery video games where... I wouldn't go so far as to say that, like, the main cast is, like, predominantly female, but it's, like, reasonably balanced. You have, like, Halara Nightmare and these two, and then you have, like, 3 guys, but you also have, like, Shinigami as a partner, if you count her as a woman, and not just, like, some weird, psychotic, woman-hating ghost robot. I don't know, you could do worse. Trying to look on the bright side.
Perhaps it is best to consider it a suicide.
No, it's not, because it's definitely not a suicide. No one but Yuma is shown. Okay.
So you think Shachi was chased by the Peacekeepers, thought the revolution had failed, and took his own life?
I do not think that, no.
I disagree. I mean, I thought that in the beginning, but something seems off.
And by something seems off, I mean someone told me to stop thinking that, and I was like, yeah, I guess I don't have free will.
Off? How so?
To start, was Shachi really being chased by the Peacekeepers? If he was fleeing them, he could have taken the emergency stairs. The Peacekeepers weren't near the emergency stairs, so it was a safe way out.
Yeah, that in and of itself is a pretty good point.
Maybe he heard your footsteps coming up and mistook you for them.
I'll allow it.
Even so, killing himself before confirming it was a Peacekeeper seems too rash. Besides, I only started up the stairs shortly after Shachi ran to the rooftop. There was still time to flee before he heard my footsteps.
I see.
I see.
Actually, to be honest, I don't actually remember us following him up the stairs. I thought we were going up the stairs because we were sort of like running from the Peacekeepers and trying to like meet with someone in the Resistance, so we were taking another approach. I don't actually remember seeing him go up the stairs.
So there had to be another reason he stayed on the roof.
Letters, you haven't done Nirvana Initiative yet? It does have Mizuki taking over as lead. They introduced some new characters, of course. I would say that their overall quality as new additions to the cast are fairly similar to the range you get from characters in the first game. Yeah, you gotta check it out. No, I'm really tempted to say something that in and of itself is both... It's in the quantum superposition state of spoiler and not spoiler. I'll say it this way. There's a moment of truly peak Uchikoshi that no other game could achieve in Somnium Files Nirvana Initiative. Just no one else could do that. I can say that with confidence.
But what could it be?
He was painting graffiti on the roof, obviously. It was a really important time to do it. Or maybe, you know what? Okay, new theory. So there's that rusted umbrella on the roof, right? So, like, he found himself on the rooftop and he's like, oh, it's raining. I didn't think of that before going outside, even though it's been raining continuously for 3 years. The only umbrella I have is rusted shut. And so he, like, tries to open the umbrella and he doesn't. He's like, that's it. I give up on life. There's too much stuff on me. I don't want to be around anymore. And then he takes out his left-handed gun and fires it at himself with his right hand. I think that's what happened. I think we cracked the case. Ocean says, if I know what you're talking about, it's both super annoying and neat. I'm not sure if we're thinking about the same thing, but maybe. It is something else.
That's the problem, yeah.
This It just reminded me of that moment where, like, we caught that peacekeeper, like, off guard, and then he, like, tipped over the railing, and he's like, help! And then Fubuki's like, and then gently tips him onto a car below. Still funny to me.
One of them is just pretending to think.
Chachi had time to run away, but he stayed on the roof.
Oh, right.
Hey, Castle, welcome to the
This is a bit
stream.
off topic, but I got some information about the flood in Marunouman district. There was a
Get
wireless
wet.
bug inside the Resistance hideout, and I heard the peacekeepers talking on it.
Yeah, you know what? I actually got some intel on the Marunouman district myself, because it's under at least a meter of water at this point.
I might get wet down there.
Yeah, that's the current state of Marunouman district, it turns out.
The flooding was due to the Ombre Electric Power Plant.
You made that word up.
Ombre Electric Power Plant?
Kane Ward's hydroelectric power plant that harnesses falling rain. They say it's a clean, green energy source.
Someone did actually mention something about that, didn't they? Or was that like one of those tooltips on a 5-hour loading screen?
It gathers rainwater throughout the city and drains it to the power plant.
And the power plant was also...
Honestly, LA, like, desperately needs that. Or any solution to, like, harnessing rainwater that isn't just, like, cross your fingers and hope it fills the reservoir.
Yep. Made by Amaterasu.
Who could have guessed an Amaterasu power plant would be a problem right now?
There's, like, a resistance and terrorists. Like, a lot of people could guess that. Kane Ward's hydroelectric power plant that harnesses falling rain. They say it's clean, green energy.
A mysterious suicide, bomb threat, and flooding. If it's all just coincidence, then this place is cursed.
Well, those things might both be true independently of one another.
Well, to be fair, you're the one who's cursed, Master.
That one's almost definitely true, considering our relationship.
I don't think it's a coincidence. There must be some kind of connection.
The only positive thing I can say about Shinigami and her, like, anti-character development is that it has, in my opinion, become, like, a springboard to demonstrate the extremely mild-mannered Yuma gradually becoming more assertive by, like, ignoring her digs and, like, occasionally calling her out, and I feel like that might gradually continue to increase as we approach the end of the game. I think we have at least one more case after this, maybe two. Maybe more, but I don't think it's, like, too much longer, I don't think.
An Amaterasu power plant. I want to investigate it, but it probably isn't safe.
I mean, considering that the region it lives in is flooded and also was recently the target of a terrorist attack for which you are accused, I would say it's not a great time to book a tour.
But it could be related, right? Then we have to go.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't actually have all that much will, despite what I just said, so... Yeah, I mean, I guess that might as well happen.
Yes, let's! An exciting adventure awaits us.
That's right, Fubuki. Finding the truth itself is an adventure. Yuma, if you hesitate, the truth will get away from you.
A wise man with an enormous tuba-themed sword once told me that I mustn't hesitate. And in his honor, we will go visit that power plant.
Then again, I'm just repeating what my grandpa said.
It's getting really hard to say no now.
Girls bat their eyes, and Master is suddenly helpless.
That's not it. Despite the danger, we have to go. We can't let the peacekeepers pursue us forever.
We can't not go. We're already suspected of crimes.
Alright, let's go to the power plant.
Yes, let us all join together and solve this case.
Yep, let's go. Time to head to Marunouman District.
I don't know what that Fade to Black was about. I really wanted Kurumi's dialogue there to be like, yes, let's all hold hands and go to the power plant together. To be like, oh god, oh no, jeez.
Let's not do anything reckless.
Was it necessary to show us standing up? I think we could believe that that was going to happen. Off to see the wizard.
You vile
Oh
criminals.
no, it's time for a dance fight. I don't know what's happening. Are they gonna get hit by a car? Or like, the one bus? I mean, again, I can't emphasize to you enough how much I hit left on the control stick. The way I'm holding this, you might even be able to tell that I did. And the game doesn't care. The game just insists that I always miss one, regardless. I'm not even convinced that any of my button inputs actually do anything. I think it just makes me, like, fail the first one, and then the rest is irrelevant at this point. Same thing I did last. That time I might have been a little slow because I wasn't sure which direction they wanted me to do. Oh. See, that was disingenuous because I thought it was going to rewind the whole scene. So I was ready to hit left again. That one was on me, but, like, because I haven't experienced this.
Stop resisting!
That was like a weird way to try to catch someone.
You criminals!
I mean, they're just Keystone Cops. Yeah, I don't know, Demolition. I don't, like, all of this could just be a cutscene. Like, we're not playing Heavy Rain where, like, the gameplay is that. Nope, that was the wrong button. They're giving me, like, increasingly little time to respond to this, but as Demolition points out, there's really no consequence, so it's just annoying. Like, the windows on these QuickTime events are actually, like, really narrow. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but, like, you do not have very much time to respond to them. But again, doesn't really matter what happens, it's just a nuisance. The whole thing is just kind of dumb.
Give yourself up.
This is bad.
Yeah, there you go. I figured that was gonna happen.
Look.
I have no idea what button this is. Oh, and that was much louder than the rest of the audio for some reason.
Jason!
I don't... What... Hey, what does the QuickTime button symbolize for when I've already jumped off a thing? I do think I got less points for that. I think the consequence is you get slightly less points if you mess up, but, like... I kind of don't... As much as I want points, I kind of don't care, because I just... It's not fun, and I kind of just want it to be over with. I mean, if you viewed any of the things that the Peacekeepers do with, like, an objective lens, it would just be embarrassing. I guess we're taking that one boat, huh?
This isn't just a flood. It's all underwater.
Okay, now, to be clear, that's exactly what a flood is. I think I understand the point you're trying to make. However, yeah, that's what flooding is that everything is underwater. Like, it was so severely flooded that the water level reached the second floor of buildings.
It looks
Yeah,
like
almost as though it was
we
flooded
left.
or something.
What was that place called? Doya District?
I know I have made the same mistake in the past, but did everyone in the city leave their water running?
Fubuki, you're so funny.
Let's hold
I think
hands.
she was serious.
From what I can tell, there aren't any peacekeepers around here.
I'm sure they've prioritized eliminating the resistance over rescuing citizens. But now's our chance to see the power plant if you want.
Nah, you know what? I've changed my mind. Let's not go to Camelot. It's a silly place.
The power plant is up ahead, right?
I
How
have
do we
no
get
idea.
there?
Gee, I feel like I'm playing Dora the Explorer in the Purple Planet. Do you guys see a way we could get to the power plant? What? Where is it? Oh, the raft!
Hey, I see a boat over there.
Maybe someone used it to evacuate. Let's borrow it.
I've never been on a boat before! So excited!
Is a boat really that interesting, given you can float?
It's
Well,
about
in
the
fairness,
moon.
Shinigami never
You just
thought
don't
she'd be on a
understand the way
boat.
to a death god's heart, Master!
Big blue watery road, after all. I feel like at the very least, at this point, I would like to play the DLC for Fubuki. I don't know if you can play them out of order? I think you probably can. I haven't downloaded any of them. I don't know how that infrastructure works like.
Master, you gotta hurry!
Do I?
Time for the tutorial!
Oh no, there's a boat section to this game? Water levels aren't good. Flooded district's full of floating debris. Find a way to the power plant using the boat. Like, the water? Is the way using the boat the water?
This might be a little tough for you, Master.
The boat can go forward and turn left or right. It'll stop if it hits debris, so proceed with caution. What? I mean,
That is
it controls like a Walmart.
You know how to pilot a boat?
Take that as you will.
I'm surprised too. You're amazing, Yuma.
Now, what I'm concerned about is, like, do I have to also dodge peacekeepers at some point?
Well, it's
Oh,
pretty
hang
much
on.
sunk. Are there sharks?
Oh,
Cardboard boxes, a desk, a bookcase, all kinds of things are being carried
Gotcha.
this way. It's like a whole warehouse of stuff got swept out. Or maybe it belongs to somebody in the middle of moving. I do not sense anything especially adventurous this way. Let's get going. Yeah, we can turn on a dime for some reason. But, like, turning while driving is actually, like, weirdly difficult. There's something very odd about that. Of, like, you can turn very easily, but not if you're moving. Try not to clip this building. I don't know how aggressive the game is going to be about this. Taking this more carefully than I think the game intends. But I think I've been burned by all these stupid QuickTime things with their terrible controls and too short windows. Also, I want to collect more DP because I clearly missed out on some by doing a bad job at the QuickTime with their short windows and their busted controls.
Yuma, watch out! You'll crash!
I mean, I don't have control over that, but I need to look at... Hello?
what was that?
That was the... Guys, that was the safe. That was really important. I need you to appreciate, like, an actual piece of evidence when it... This group of detectives wouldn't recognize a piece of evidence if it floated down a river directly toward them. You're right, Demolition, like... slightly nudges something with side of the boat. Boat explodes, times reset, like... I feel like, yeah.
It looked like a big safe. There's a bunch of other stuff drifting by, like desks and chairs. I'm sure it flowed out from the flooded buildings.
I am embarrassed to sound so naive, but a safe is a box where you store valuables, right?
The servants call her Dummy Thick.
If so, is it safe for something so precious to be floating around here?
It should be fine. Airtight safes float because of the air inside.
The servants call me Dummy Thick.
Demolition is questioning the logic of this in chat, and I think that's fair, but I want to say this is plausible. Like, I don't think that all safes are actually sufficiently airtight for this to be true, but I think this could, in theory, happen.
Oh, really? If nothing else, informants sure know their trivia.
It'd be terrible if we crashed into it. Be careful, Yuma.
It's already stopped moving.
That's safe. I think I saw it somewhere.
Nah, I don't think so. I think you'd remember that.
Function makes it the best safe there is.
The thing I like about this is I clearly recognize that as being the safe pictured here, but now that we're actually seeing a flashback to that image, this looks like a dark green or gray or almost black color, and the one that's outside looks like a pretty light purple or lavender or something.
Nowadays, even the bank and other important facilities use it in the commercial area of Marunamon District. It's made by trusty old Amaterasu Corp, after all.
Also, this is not important to anyone, but Shachi's like belt bag and I think also his jacket have the letters AGAIG on it. And for some reason my brain just immediately just now decoded that as good as it gets. And I'm like, why would that even if that's true, which is weird that I managed to put that together, if so, why is that a thing you would, like, inscribe on your clothes? I'm a pessimist, but I like olive and beige.
That's right. It's the same as the one at the hideout.
It just clearly seems to be a different color now.
District. Something about this bothers me.
I can't imagine what. Sturdy safe used in important facilities in Marunamon District, including the bank.
We better avoid bumping into the stuff drifting by. Otherwise, we might capsize.
I know. We have no idea if this boat is sturdy or not.
So I can't go backwards. I don't think I can actually look at the safe further, which feels weird to me, but I'm just gonna leave it, because otherwise I'm gonna, like, touch something and cause the whole city to explode or something. Like, it's hard for me to convey to you the controls of this, where, like, the turning in and of itself actually feels surprisingly good, but when coupled with the attempt to move forward feels horrendous. Like, overall, the control scheme is very bad. I think it's intentional, because this is supposed to be, like, a challenge, but, like, oh my god. There are bicycles mixed in with all the trash floating by. Barrel drums and containers, too. That garbage kind of reeks. Let's go already.
Wow.
This place isn't very safe. It might be a good idea to leave. I think that would be wise. Hold on. Hold on. Gonna have to take the long way, huh? Okay, hold on. I see something. I don't need it, but I want it. God, these controls are bad. These are not good controls. So get a little bit into the open, and then turn around. Kinda need, like, a whole lot of turning radius, huh? Okay. Managed it one direction. We're gonna have a little bit of a problem later. Don't worry about that yet. Over here, though, is a memory that seems like it'd be really difficult to get again. And again, I don't really need this, but I see it and it belongs to me. It's a Vivia memory, if that makes it more worth the time I've just wasted out of your life. I do look forward to working with Vivia, assuming he didn't die in that explosion.
That must be the power plant. All right, let's get going.
And look at this drainage pipe. Is this a drainage pipe? Doesn't seem like it's working very well. Water swept away some pretty huge things. Goodness, I think the pipe just moved. If it came falling down, we'd be in big trouble. Maybe we should get away from it. Let's do that. Gotta get all those points for those skills that don't help at all. We did it. I didn't hit anything. And I got very few points, regardless.
There doesn't appear to be anyone here. Maybe all the workers evacuated.
Is this even the power plant? This looks like just like a regular office.
There wasn't a blackout, so the building should still be functioning.
This place is working hard, even while flooded. I should follow its example and keep working hard too.
You know, some people say that the Marunamon district is half empty, but Fubuki likes to think of the Marunamon district as half full of water.
Hey, I think we can go in through there.
That sounds right, Demolition. If it's 100% airtight, a safe could float, but it would need more surface area. That sounds correct to me. Like, in theory, it could work.
Don't go alone.
I'm not totally certain the one we saw could do it. But, like, one could do that.
It's alright, no one's here. Let's hurry and check this place out.
She is a rather good informant. She deserves respect for putting her life on the line for the sake of intel.
I doubt I could be so bold.
This is a weird case, even by this game's standards. Guillaume's lucky jar of the day. For all the Aquariuses out there, buy this jar for good luck. It's a steal at 5 million Shien for a limited time only. I started reading that several seconds after it was on the screen and managed to read the whole thing before it went away.
Looks like a regular office. Maybe they do administrative stuff here.
See, just by way of comparison, the random rusted umbrella that we saw on the roof of the building did look to be the same style as the ones in Grandpa Megalaw's store. The umbrellas over there do not look like the same style to me. What sign am I? I'm Cancer. So, like, Carlos the Crab, he's like my sign.
Well, there's some tea half gone on the table. People must have left in a hurry.
Yeah, 'cause the building flooded, girl.
Let's check out this room. We might find out what happened here.
What an arbitrary thought. We're in a flooded building. This room might have the secrets that we seek. I mean, it could, but so could the next one, or any number of them. Oh my god, now that I'm not in the boat, I feel like I'm so fast. I'm like the Flash. Documente. No, apparently I'm talking to Kurumi, even though she's like right on top of that hitbox. Glad it wasn't flooded. I hope we can find some information. Get investigating. Don't lose to that flatty. So cool. You're definitely... Shinigami, you're definitely not helping. I want to emphasize that right now.
Take a look at this document.
Is it a photograph? When you look at it, does it make you laugh?
Emergency notice to all power plant's employees?
They had time to send out a memo?
According to this, 2 accidents occurred near the power plant.
2 accidents?
Yeah. In the first one, the drainage channel that brings in rainwater to Marunouman district collapsed. It seems like there was a separate explosion at the drainage channel exactly when the phone booth blew up.
Yeah, so they're... Yeah, the whole enterprise is to mask like an actual terrorist event. I'm inclined to say that that's... I mean, the case is clearly pointing us in the direction that at least one of the people involved in the resistance has some hand in that. And the whole framing us as terrorists with the bombing is meant to draw attention towards us and away from whatever they're doing so they don't get caught. Yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't say that my attachment to Carlos was, like, because of, like, my astrological sign, but, like, I have had the thought since Carlos was added to my life, and I'm like, yeah, that's neat. I don't particularly care about astrology, but it's fun that Carlos has become such a thing, and, like, also is my astrological sign.
Another explosion near the water drainage channel. Is that why water overflowed into Marunouman district?
No, that I think also was a coincidence. I think everything is a coincidence, actually. I think this whole case is nonsense.
No. If it was just an accident, there'd still be plenty of drainage capacity.
I see the crab costume making rounds on social media. I'm not sure. I feel like I saw some weird crab thing not long ago, but now I can't remember what it was. Or if it was Halloween costume related. Katia says, I don't know, I'm a Libra and have a pretty strong attachment to my bathroom scale. That might be because it's broken or can't show how shape I am. I don't think... I mean, I assume that the attachment is gravity more than anything. Arcadius. So I made a costume with a crab over her chest and a dozen arrows from her back pointing to the crab. I'm not sure that without seeing it I get the joke. It might be clearer to see it than to have it described.
The city flooded because another accident pushed it over the edge.
What accident?
There's a reservoir upstream from the power plant. That's where they adjust the water used for generating power. But the valve that adjusts the water flow is malfunctioning right now.
Malfunctioning?
The valve's locked open, causing water to keep flowing.
I see. So they couldn't drain it quick enough, and it overflowed into Marunouman district.
Sure.
I highly doubt this all happened by accident.
No, I think so.
Yeah, there's no doubt this was intentional. But why?
Flooding around the power plant is thought to have been caused by 2 accidents, both alike in dignity.
Better write this down.
Meow. So fast. Let's talk to Fubuki. What? I smell it. I smell treasure. We must take it back with us. So she's a pirate too? Is she sure she won't marry me? I'd like do this now. I'm not getting any younger.
No.
That would make us thieves or pirates, which is better. And we have a boat, so it's allowed. We're clearly in international waters, so finders, keepers.
Yuma, I believe this is about the power plant, right?
Okay. This doesn't quite feel to me like what's been described to us thus far. But it's close enough, I guess. Clean energy by Amaterasu. This advanced generator efficiently generates electricity with rainwater. Tap water reservoir is used to generate electricity. Tap water reservoir? Seems like a weird way to describe something. The turbines are powered by only natural water flow. It works like a water wheel, making it completely safe. Drainage is controlled as needed through generating power, so there's no risk of blackouts. It also feels like a slightly weird way of saying that. Like, I guess because drainage feels disconnected to the concern of risk of blackouts. The concern with drainage is like, does flooding happen? And the blackouts are like, does it generate enough power? The sentence seems to conflate the two in a way that doesn't make sense to me.
As far as I can tell, this appears like an ideal facility.
This area is at a lower elevation in Kanai Ward, so rainwater tends to pool up here.
And that's probably why it was the first place to flood.
Office? What is the purpose of this room? There's no desk and just like a love seat and like a single chair. Like a little coffee table. It doesn't seem ideal for a break room. But like, I don't know what the heck else you'd use it for.
It won't open. It's stuck from the other side.
Ah. You think this is Silent Hill rules or Dark Souls rules?
Maybe water is pressing against the door. The water pressure could be keeping it closed.
Oh, right.
Looks like no one is really here. It must be serious if even the security's gone.
Well, look around. What could they even do?
And the other side of the door is exerting too much pressure for it to open. How is this solution key relevant to anything that we're trying to do? It's a weird case,
I think
man.
that's about it.
There's not a whole lot to do here, but I don't know what our plan is. End investigation with prejudice.
That should be everything I can investigate here. I think I understand the gist of this power plant.
Arena! Second floor seating! If you see a terrorist, applaud!
What was that?
What do you think that was?
Peacekeepers? What are they doing here?
What do you think they're doing here?
You are surrounded! Come out with your hands up, and the only punishment you'll receive is a little pat on the head. From Dominic's freakishly strong hands!
That might still be nice. Can he control his strength? Does Dominic Fulltank know his own strength? Also, like, what's the deal with the megaphone? Just stop it, please.
Yuma, what do we do?
We can escape through that door.
Not easily.
No good, it won't open.
I mean, it was like it's a prerequisite to have gotten to this point to know that that door doesn't open.
Master, calm down. Right now, we have to stay calm.
Okay, I'm panicking a little bit.
You're out of time. The terrorist really is here. They sold out one of their own. That's so funny.
It's funny in the sense that it means that the party or parties responsible for trying to frame us for all this have also continued to monitor us, even though we don't necessarily still have the, like, wrist device on. I mean, it detached itself. I don't know if we continued carrying it around. I'm honestly not sure whether that would be a good idea or not, because, like, it could potentially provide useful clues in the future, but also could be used to track us, you know? But, like, it's not clear to me how, but if they told these people where to find us specifically, it means that they're still actively trying to get us caught, or at least actively trying to draw these people away, so they're still doing something.
You terrorist clown. Look, Dominic's laughing his butt off.
Sold out their own?
We got an anonymous tip you were here. A certain friend was worried about your future.
What's going on? Someone from the Resistance reported us?
How is this surprising? We've clearly been framed by minimum one person in the Resistance.
I'm not sure what's happening here.
Yuma.
Please do it, Fubuki.
Now, don't try moving without permission.
How far back are we going? That doesn't seem far enough to actually do much. What's our plan? Can we take over and go further?
Looks like a regular office. Maybe they do administrative stuff here. There's some tea half gone on the table. People must have left in a hurry.
I don't think that's the same line she said the first time. Didn't she say, like, there's a half-empty mug of tea or something? I thought she, like, referenced the container.
Wait, when did you two start holding hands? What are you doing?
She is genuinely upset about this.
This is as far as I can turn back time.
Oh, if she could turn back time, we could find a way. Something, I don't know that song very well.
Fubuki? What's the matter? Did something happen?
I'll explain later, Kurumi. The
Something
peacekeepers are on
already
their
is
way.
going to happen.
We need to get out of here.
Man, am I gonna have to quickly...
What?
Yeah, we did, like, this... As I suggested, this really wasn't far enough back to do anything, really. Although, in fairness, this implies that they showed up, like, essentially immediately after she said that line, which we know to be false, which is confusing. I know we're sort of hand-waving here to make this plot point work, but, like, we should have had at least a nominal amount of time to react, even if it wasn't enough to get away.
I was about to do the old "you were surrounded, so come out with your hands up" thing.
Well, Acadia says he's noticed that he hates dialogue wheels in RPGs because the abbreviated response they show you does not accurately reflect what you're going to say. Yeah, I mean, that affects stuff like the Telltale games for me as well, for sure. And heck, even something like that happened in Raincoat earlier. There was like one of those quick time things where there was like a choice of like brick or can to like deal with an oncoming guard, and it looked to me like he was going to kick it. I'm like, well, I don't want to kick a brick because that is going to hurt me more than it hurts them. The game's like, idiot, you were gonna pick it up and throw it at him. I'm like, you gave me like a fraction of a second to choose one of two options. I'm not certain how that's meant to be clear to me. But like that's also something that I know Tech has said repeatedly is like a big pet peeve of his. Is like that type of interface where you're meant to like make it's worse in a game. I know you're playing Mass Effect. It's like it tends to be worse in a game like that where like your choices are supposed to matter and like potentially shape the story, and sometimes like it's just not clear at all what the intention is.
Why are you
Damn, we're already surrounded. We have to turn back time again.
I hadn't noticed it until now, but that last line read from what's-her-face, the girl who's trying to kill us, sounded a little like the voice actress for Mizuki in Somnium Files. I don't know if that's her, but it sounds like her to me.
Yeah, I cannot. Once I have turned back time, I cannot turn it back any further.
Well, I can pay the rent.
Oh no!
Oh my god, at least try the obvious thing. I'm gonna throttle all of you. Except Fubuki. She's above reproach.
Hello? What you talking about? Now,
Picturing
at this moment, the main focus is here! If this was reality TV, your faces would be totally blurred out right now.
That's like a really specific subset of reality TV.
Hey, Dominic, you love throwing terrorists in the can, right? We found some terrorists for you to crush.
That sounds like a different verb than to throw in the can.
Squish them into cans and ship them off to Director Yomi. Okay? Okay.
A-set. You bet. Yeah, that's about as far as I got referencing that 2 Castle. Earlier I said I made a reference to Turn Back Time, and I'm like, I don't know any lyrics beyond she could find a way. That's all I got.
Sorry. If I was just a bit stronger.
What do we do, Yuma?
We can't get captured here. The bomb threat, flooding, and Shachi's death? I have to solve those mysteries.
That's where yours truly comes in.
I mean, this is the other option, but I frankly feel like it would be better to try and escape using time travel.
Right. Shinigami, please help me.
Oh, fine. After all, I have to help when asked.
Is that actually true? That might be good to know.
The mysterious death of that Shachi guy. And we now have enough clues for that.
Does she just innately know that? Because she could have told us if that was true. Oh, I forgot. I always forget about the magical girl transformation sequence. Sharp-toothed anime girl looks like a VTuber. She does! She really does. That's true.
Oh my.
But, like, again, unless these two are, like, implicated in the crime, which, I don't know, maybe somehow, whatever. But, like, once we resume time, I don't understand how the Peacekeepers always just, like, let us go afterwards. It always looks like we, like, murdered someone, like, directly in front of them with our minds, and they're like, alright, I guess swiper knows swiping, huh?
Oh.
Yeah, as I was describing that, I was thinking the same thing, Neko.
You're not surprised?
Well, this is not out of the ordinary for members of the Clockford family. But
Good point.
who did this?
She did?
Nice to meet you. Apologies for the delayed introduction.
Why, thank you for the proper introduction. Pleased to meet you. Hello, hey.
Neither one of you said your name. It's not a proper introduction.
This is terrible, Yuma. It appears we are both falling.
She's so good. That's definitely not the sufficient emotional reaction to that situation.
Down the rabbit
No.
hole we go.
Yuma, this is terrible. We're falling to our deaths. Like, what the heck? Oh my god. Save current progress? Yeah. Don't remember where anything was. Got a 10-7. Let's... let's just save over this one. I remember why I have this old file, but I don't think I'm gonna get that thing. But yeah, as Neko was saying, Mystery Labyrinth won't help here because there isn't like an obvious culprit standing directly in front of them to drop dead and for Shinigami to possess with an unconvincing explanation. Katie says, who do I think has a better magical girl sequence, Shinigami or Kiss from Scooby-Doo? Have I seen the Kiss transformation sequence from Scooby-Doo? I don't know if I have. Maybe? I feel like I've seen at least part of that crossover. Don't really remember a transformation sequence, though. When you did this. 11-3. Let's go. No pause in between. Come on, let's jam. I've made it through most of the Scooby-Doo Halloween donuts. I'm not counting the rest of the orange disappointments because those aren't food. They're disappointment. Made out of edible ingredients. One thing I'll say is I'm definitely a touch disappointed that the outside of the Mystery Labyrinth doesn't change appearance for each case. That feels like a missed opportunity to me. It's not like a huge deal, but like it feels like that could be a cool way to distinguish them. They kind of do it on the inside, but like...
Ow, this happens every time. There's gotta be a better way.
There's got to be a better way. Like, even the stuff that they change on the inside doesn't necessarily feel like it is strongly, like, thematically connected to the individual cases. Like, some stuff, like, when you reach a room that has, like, a bunch of desks stacked in it because you're solving a case in a school, like, that does, but, like, the various hallways are fairly replaceable for the most part.
Yuma, it appears we are witnesses to a historical moment.
Nah, that's like my 4th time.
Huh?
I never would have imagined discovering an advanced civilization underneath Kanai Ward.
It's not really what's happening, but I appreciate the energy you're bringing.
There must be treasures sought by adventurers deep inside. Oh, if I had known this was here, I would have brought along a whip and hat.
Does that have anything to do with the discovery? I mean, I understand the reference, but I'm just saying that might not be related. I will say, though, that the more I learn about Fubuki, the more I think that she's actually just a pirate.
Fubuki? We're not underneath Kanai Ward.
Demolition says he regrets not visiting Randy's Donuts or In-N-Out while in California. I mean, Vasco's hot take. You're not missing out on In-N-Out. I think it's way overhyped. Like, even the people who like In-N-Out, if pressed, have to admit that they have, like, genuinely the worst french fries, like, maybe in the entirety of restaurants. Maybe not even, like, quick service restaurants, like, maybe just entirety of all restaurants. They're very bad. The burgers are more debatable. But, like, I think they're good? I don't know. I feel like you could do better. And if you go on other places, you don't have to wait, like, a zillion hours in line. Dick's fries in Seattle's are worse. Well, I'll admit I've never been there to compare. But I will say the In-N-Out fries are horrendous. They basically taste like they're not cooked. And they're not food. Nice Money says, speaking of donuts, I got some at the local shop. They had apricot filling. I'm not sure how they make them filled when they have a hole. I mean, they probably just, like... Is there, like, some spot on the donut, Ice Bunny, where there's, like, a hole in the side of the donut where they could have just, like, made the donut hollow and then, like, injected the apricot filling after the fact? There's really no word you can use there that's not a little suggestive, huh? I kind of wish we could do... This conceit is fun to me, of, like, it's implied that I explained everything, but, like, I don't know, we don't actually do much with it.
That's it!
Huh?
This is exactly the adventure I have been seeking! Hidden treasure inside a labyrinth, traps blocking our way, dangerous monsters!
I mean, Shinigami is definitely the most dangerous monster. And I am factoring in the fact that there are, like, enormous versions of real-life people wearing, like, weird 90s like fetish club garb trying to kill us. They're not the real monsters. Shinigami is.
This labyrinth is the adventure I was born to take on.
I think that's a bit of an exaggeration.
Does she really not get it? Well, that figures.
So, you must be the god of darkness possessing Yuma.
Interesting way of putting
You got it
that.
all wrong. I'm not the god of darkness. I'm the god of death.
She's like our guide for the mystery labyrinth.
But like, you know, a cooler, friendlier, like 2000s god of death, as opposed to like the 90s death metal one who actually wants to kill you. Except that she does actually want to kill you specifically because she views you as a rival for my romantic interest, which really doesn't make very much sense, no matter what my age is.
Right. If you defy me, I'll abandon you in here.
I see. You're the guide to hell that dwells in the labyrinth. So you are the god of darkness.
I can't stress enough how bad an idea it is to try and antagonize her directly in her own domain.
Then you are plotting to interfere with us. I will not yield to you.
She doesn't get it at all.
It's like she's not listening. This is why I hate naive, sheltered skanks.
It's not that she's not listening, it's just that her version of reality is much more interesting than what you're trying to present to her.
Naive? Sheltered? Calling me a skank is one thing, but sheltered?
I don't know that I'm
servants
equipped.
Call me dummy thick.
I don't know that I'm equipped to, in any meaningful way, respond to that comment at all.
Yuma, I swear I shall conquer this labyrinth.
For a moment there, I was really hoping that, like, Fubuki was actually just gonna, like, beat up Shinigami. She's gonna be, like, so incensed by that that she'd actually just, like, physically take her down in her own, like, evil magical realm.
I cannot abide this vulgar god of darkness calling me naive and sheltered.
Fubuki, please, calm down.
Anyway, Master, let's do it again. We've got to put on a fiercer display than ever before for this sheltered skank.
We're gonna do the sword thing, right? I always think we're jumping straight to the vomiting, but we gotta get that sword out first.
Fiercer than usual?
Fubuki, just a heads up. Please don't take anything you're about to see in a weird way.
First, tall order. Real hard to manage that. Secondly, she won't remember any of this, so does it matter?
Master, are you ready to give your life for the truth?
Why is she so distraught? Is she actually attracted to Yuma? I don't know. Having a dance sequence to, like, summon your special weapon is very anime. Man, what are they feeding him? I don't think I ever stopped to appreciate the mildly unsettling expression that Shinigami gets on her face after you take the sword.
And yet, Yuma, you have disarmed the god of darkness and stolen her weapon.
Fubuki definitely rejects your reality and substitutes her own.
Master, we don't have time to deal with this. Just chop her up with the solution blade.
Absolutely not!
In that case, I must vomit.
Here, I spat out the solution keys for you.
You were smuggling that many keys on you? You must be a serial burglar, god of darkness. Your crimes are far worse than I first imagined.
Seriously, you're such a dumb, sheltered skank. How do you hope to clear the mystery labyrinth like this?
My only consolation to the fact that now she's openly antagonizing Fubuki because she feels like she can is the fact that Fubuki's natural existence has like a 4 times Pokemon type science like type advantage over Shinigami. Just like she's incapable of actually receiving Shinigami's vitriol in the way it's intended, and all of her responses are just like quadruply vexing to Shinigami in exchange.
You called me sheltered again.
There, calm down.
I refuse. I do not like conflict, but I will not stand idly by while being insulted. For the honor of the Clockford family name, I must fight.
Sheesh, give me a break.
Now, let's unriddle this mystery labyrinth! Our target is the true culprit who preys on the truth.
I will not lose to the God of Darkness. I will conquer this labyrinth sealed in shadow and find the hidden treasure deep within.
This doesn't look very promising.
It never did. Did Shinigami just like phase in horizontally and like flip? I can see numbers. Hey. Oh. I was tempted to see if we could watch the numbers tick down indefinitely and then see what happened if the numbers hit 0. I know that would have been a radical waste of time, but like, wouldn't that have been interesting? That could have had like Black Sad level consequences.
It looks like a countdown. I told you a million times. The mystery labyrinth is the materialized form of the case from the real world. Maybe this is a recreation of the countdown timer that caused you such a headache.
I mean, isn't it possible that, like, well, I guess, like, normally Fortes don't carry over here, right? I was thinking that maybe, like, Fubuki's time powers allowed her to, like, manifest the clock that told us how much time we had to solve the mystery, because there's an implied clock that if you don't do it in time, the mystery persists forever or whatever.
You mean the bomb? Then if the timer reaches 0...
It'll go kaboom! You and the whole mystery labyrinth will be blown to smithereens!
Hey, what's the actual, like, origin of the word smithereens? It doesn't get used all that often these days, but it's fascinating because, like, it is only ever used in, like, exactly one context. I don't remember what happened in Black Side anymore. Well, like, there was, like, a camera pan at one point where you had, like, a decision you could make during a poker game, and if you just, like, let it sit, I was, like, talking to chat or something, and then it kept going for a while, and I was like, what happens if we just let it go? You, like, phase fully through the character's face, and, like, you briefly see, like, his eyeballs and teeth, and then you pass those and go through the back of his head, and then the camera keeps going, like, out the wall of the building and into the skybox, and then, like, finally hits an endpoint where it fluctuates a little bit. It's really not supposed to do that, I don't think.
What's funny about that?
Did you set up the bomb in this labyrinth? I see. A dirty trick, befitting the God of Darkness.
Wait a minute, Shinigami set us up the bomb. Well, it says smithereens likely developed from the Irish word smidirni, which means little bits. The Irish word is the diminutive of smiodar, meaning fragment. No?
Yuma, we must hurry. If we take too much time, the labyrinth will collapse, along with the treasure inside. Let us make all haste to obtain the treasure and escape via waterfall out of the destroyed dungeon.
I mean, that's like a lot of presumption, but okay.
Wait! It's not safe! Jeez.
Oh my god.
It's too dangerous for Fubuki to go alone.
Then give her a sword. We've been over this. I like that it's implied she got so far ahead of us that we literally can't even see her. Am I crazy? I feel like we've seen this version of the surroundings before. I feel like they've changed on other occasions, but I feel like we've seen these ones.
She could use her ability in an emergency.
Oh, I should let you know. Fortes can't be used in here.
For some reason, I thought we had established that. Maybe I just made that assumption because it's never happened before.
Huh? Really?
That sheltered skank is just tagging along inside the mystery labyrinth. She won't be able to use her abilities.
Oh, now I'm worried. Let's hurry after her.
Glad it's not just me who thinks it's familiar. It definitely looks familiar to me. I feel like this might have even been like the first one. Like the appearance of like the first mystery labyrinth we did. I won't go too much longer, but as much of a convenient breaking point as starting the labyrinth is, I feel like we're all a little hyped to see kind of the direction this takes. So let's get a little bit of a sense of that before calling it a day. Reminder to those watching live that I am not streaming tomorrow. We'll be back normally for Friday and Saturday next week. Alright, this is happening.
Fubuki?
Uh-huh.
Oh, Yuma, take a look at this. These cute creatures and I have become the best of friends.
I don't know what to say about that.
Those are cues. It's a materialized mystery. She's already buried beneath them.
Well, that's a I can almost see downtown Lidsville from here moment. Before you could notice them, you'd have to notice she was surrounded by them.
Oh, another round oddity over here?
Honestly, her, like, monster labyrinth style is, like, on point. That somehow suits her perfectly. Dominic I could take or leave. It's a little ostentatious. It's got, like, a weird apron vibe that I don't think necessarily matches his character.
A phantom.
Found you! You're a terrorist, bomber, murderer, and...
Does her necklace... Is that letters? It kind of looks like it says... Poton or Poyon? It's like weirdly close to a word, but I don't think it is one.
A maggot who doesn't deserve to live.
Uh-huh.
You murdered Shachi from the Resistance, didn't you? Killing your own people makes you dumber than Dominic.
I didn't do it! When I got to the roof, Shachi was already dead.
Oh, man. I know that this reference isn't going to be meaningful to a lot of you, but I've been watching a lot of Big Brother this year, and they're, like, truly some of the least, like, cognizant people I've ever seen. I feel like Dominic Steel Tank could, like, think circles around the vast majority of the players from this season. It's been baffling and actually pretty frustrating to watch. This is Johnny loves Shashi. I don't know. Maybe. I assume we'll learn that by the end of the Mystery Labyrinth Castle.
I can't hear you. Sorry, I don't listen to criminals.
How horrifying! So these are the Labyrinth's monsters?
I have to do an RDM, which I hate. Also, I haven't checked recently for skill upgrades. Maybe it hasn't been that long. Maybe I did it
You summoned such dangerous
during the
creatures
case.
to block our path?
Think what you want, but you can't move forward until you boom kill these things.
Let us do it, Yuma.
Hey, Dominic, you're good at doing laundry, right?
This feels reminiscent of that line from Scott Pilgrim, where Brandon Routh talks about, like, the housekeepers cleaning him up after the weekend, and he has to, like, really explain the joke because, like, no one got it. He's like, oh, because it's, like, a Friday, and they probably don't work on the weekends, but they'll be in on Monday, and then they'll see the mess I left when I killed him, or whatever.
Grab a washboard and give their filthy hearts a good scrub.
I really kind of think that's Mizuki. Not looking forward to this already. Shachi's gun, security camera. I have a lot of boosts. Hold on. So what do we have? Revolver style handgun, contrary to standard models, it loads on the other side. Security camera footage of the emergency stairs. We're the only one there. There's one gunshot, and we were in the middle of the stairwell at the time.
Confess to shooting Shachi on the hideout's roof. How terrible of you to shoot an ally. You even planted the gun on his corpse. All to make it look like a suicide. With no witnesses up there.
This one? No. Wait, maybe? No.
That's right.
Just admit it.
I always jump the gun on these. Mostly because, like, they increasingly feel like they have some, like, really, like, tangential link to evidence. So I feel like I have to think laterally and get antsy.
Planted the gun on his corpse.
It might be that one, because the gun is custom made.
Look like a suicide. With no witnesses up there. You did
Man, that
as
moves
you
slow.
pleased. Go die and be reborn already, okay?
Why would you want me to be reborn? Okay, it's probably the gun thing then.
But
I'm the only person who could have killed Shachi, but I didn't. He had already been killed by the time I got there. I like how that's like meant to be a clue, but it isn't. I don't know, the closest thing I could think is that they want me to like point out the gun thing.
Confess to shooting Shachi on the hideout's roof.
Shouldn't be this one. I think it should be we plant the gun.
Terrible of you to shoot an ally. You even planted the gun on his corpse.
Which side is this?
Say.
Shachi didn't commit suicide, so must have put the gun in his hand, right?
Anyway.
That's true.
Isn't it more important that you didn't shoot him? But, like, I don't feel like any of the things that I can interact with are, like, directly contradicted by the fact that I was on the stairs. I tried the one that felt closest to that, and that's why we're here. Now the game clearly wants me to interpret this. No, me is shown on the stairwell at the time. I do feel like I tried the one that was closest for this.
Admit it. Confess to shooting Shachi on the hideout's roof.
This is the truth.
I don't agree with that being the correct answer. I don't think that's it. Me having evidence isn't a direct contradiction to confess. Like, this is the sort of nebulous connection that makes me strongly dislike the approach taken in the reasoning deathmatch. Because, like, it, you know, contrary to, like, Phoenix Wright that actually uses a relatively similar system, in that game, like, the description of the evidence always is, like, a direct contradiction if you know what you're looking for. And yeah, I asked that earlier, I think. Is like, did he have gunshot residue on his hand or on his head? Because both of those tell you about whether he shot himself at close range.
The security footage proves it.
It's annoying to me that we never used that laptop at the hotel to check the security footage for Old Man Megalaw's store. Does this guy have one teddy bear ear? Is he Golden Freddy? I saw a thread on Twitter about this today. Where, like, Jenny Nicholson was like, apparently I was supposed to understand in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie that this character that exactly resembles Freddy wasn't Freddy and was a big deal. And I did not.
Yuma, you defeated those monsters! Splendid! I respect you as a fellow adventurer. As a sign of my respect, may I call you the Warrior of Light?
I appreciate this rather stark, absurd narrative.
Warrior of Light? Sure, whatever you say. Let's keep going.
I really like that vibe. Ice Bunny says these baddies would make a nice couples cosplay. That would be very entertaining to me. By the way, I did watch Five Nights at Freddy's on Halloween. I don't really recommend it. I'm not like the hugest Five Nights at Freddy's fan. But like I've always sort of thought that like the world was kind of interesting, so maybe divorced from the jump scare centric gameplay, it could be like a good story.
You of being the culprit?
It did not turn out that way.
Yeah, Fubuki, you don't remember the case.
Oh,
There was a
darn.
murder, and I'm a suspect.
There's no way the Warrior of Light can be a murderer.
For whatever it's worth to you,
I was seen under
two of my
incriminating
friends also watched it
circumstances.
independently of me, and when we compared
Not
notes, they
only
liked
was
it
I a
even
suspected
less.
terrorist, but I was also spotted next to a corpse on the roof of a building.
I really hate when that happens.
Was there no one else on the roof?
I mean, you might like it, especially if you're like really into the lore Demolition.
There
It
was
seems
nowhere to
like
hide up there,
die-hard
and
fans
no
are
other
more
exits.
likely to like it. It is not well geared towards casual fans or people who don't know about the games.
Yuma. Things would go much easier if you'd just confess.
Oh my god.
I told you I didn't do it!
It would just, I mean, it'd help us. It would save us a lot of time if you'd just be convicted of murder, I think.
Whoa, what's happening?
Whoa.
I understand now. This place is going to sink very soon.
I know that!
I can float, so it's not a problem for me. But you two better figure something out quick.
I mean, you don't even need a supernatural ability to float. You're just like pretty, buoyant.
I know that too! We just need to solve the mystery, right?
Yeah, just solve it before this already mostly flooded room kills us. What could be the problem? Okay, I love you, bye-bye.
Master, concentrate!
Well, this is wild. Uh-oh. I think I know what we're doing. What murder weapon was used in this case? I don't know.
This way! This is bad. I'm losing my strength.
These
I
sections
can't
annoy me because they
hold
usually
on
want you to
any-
make a logical leap with no evidence. Like, if I had evidence to tell me one way or the other, and I had to, like, answer the question using deduction, that'd be fine. But normally, this is the way that the game tells you information that you need to solve the case without actually using evidence first. They never let me get a good
That was
look
quite a
at,
surprise.
like, powder burns or anything on his hand that would have told me this. I wanted to check them immediately, and, like, then we went and checked the security camera and talked to an old man and, like, disarmed a bunch of bombs.
Fubuki, let's go up there.
Huh? You mean jump on it?
For some reason, this gives me the same energy as the, like, I could get wet down there. Which, if she missed the jump, she could get wet down.
It's alright, this should be fine.
It says, I've read people in general really don't like the Five Nights at Freddy movie. The story is a mess because it assumes you already know all the lore, and it wastes time on the protagonist's backstory rather than the animatronics. I've heard it lacks horror and drags, so it offers nothing to anyone. Yeah. I would argue that's all very accurate. I would say, though, that the impression I've gotten is that, like, at least at some point, I was seeing, like, Rotten Tomatoes ratios that looked like fans liked it and were inflating its rating there, but the critics hated it. And I feel like more time goes on, I see sort of like mixed responses from people online, but generally I get a sense that there's definitely some enthusiasm and support from like diehard fans. But those comments about like where it spends its time, and I mean, like, one of my friends who watched it is like a big horror movie fan, and she came away from it like super mad because she was like, it's just not scary. And I'm like, yeah, it's not. And I tried to explain how the games are like all jump scares, and so like the only ways to do it are like to really restructure what the story represents or to make it a jump scare movie, and those both sound bad anyway. Wow, even with that being a cutscene, that looked like that was barely gonna work.
What's wrong? You need to jump over here.
I'll tell you what's wrong.
I might
get wet. Down there.
I know we've been wading through a flooded city, but a girl still has to be concerned about these things.
I am not very good at physical activity.
Huh?
I know that that's probably supposed to be him shouting over the rushing water, but that seemed exaggerated in a way that was cartoonish to me.
I cannot do it. I lack the confidence.
Fubuki, you're an adventurer, aren't you? You should be able to jump this.
It looks like she's gonna have to jump.
Very well. I shall reach out as far as possible. Please catch me if I fail to make it.
Oh, I don't like this. This isn't gonna be a cutscene, is it?
Fubuki!
Wow, that's really not how I saw that going. Oh, it is a quick time? It's not a quick time. It's so inconsistent that I'm like, I'm on pins and needles just being like, is it a quick time event? You normally don't give me like any leeway on these. Like, I really need to know as quickly as possible because you normally like mess me up deliberately. I want to make a joke, but I refrain.
But was unable to.
About that, you can't use your abilities while inside the mystery labyrinth.
Despite the plethora of clocks and clock-like mechanisms in the background of this confusing world.
Huh? Is this the work of the God of Darkness? Her frightening power has sealed away my forte?
Yeah, more or less, right, Neko? You just need to wait for Fubuki's model to suddenly clip into place, like in Little Nightmares 2. Yeah, because then you'll just know.
So you finally noticed.
I wish you'd quit trying to make things worse.
With your precious
mean,
powers gone, you're nothing but a hindrance in this labyrinth.
I mean, what does it say about you, who have all your powers and are still almost entirely a hindrance in this labyrinth?
Now stay put and keep out of trouble.
I do appreciate the outright villainous line read there, though.
Hindrance?
About the murder weapon. The victim was killed by his own gun, right?
I've proven that with no evidence because I was given only 2 options and the other one was wrong. I don't actually have any evidence. This is how we solve crimes.
Yeah, the muzzle of the gun at the crime scene was still hot, and I could smell gunpowder.
Oh, I guess that's fair. He did say that. However, all we know is that a bullet was shot. That isn't conclusive that it's the murder weapon. Which, like, again, if you could check these details that actually tell you things about the nature of where it was fired and where it was aimed, that could be relevant. Because, like, it's definitely the case that someone could have shot him with their own gun and then, like, framed him. It's less likely because we heard only the one gunshot, but, like, under the already absurd circumstances, I would appreciate actual evidence ruling out these other things instead of the game just being like, Occam's razor, I guess.
Out of the 6 bullets loaded in it, only one of them had an empty shell.
That doesn't tell me anything.
Which means the bullet that killed Shachi absolutely came from the gun he was holding.
That is not correct. If the game did a better job of, like, making those deductions conclusive and follow, like, actual evidence consistently, I would appreciate it more. Like, I sometimes struggle with and have gripes about the way Phoenix Wright does stuff. And it has kind of a similar underlying system. But at the end of the day, the vast majority of, like, Phoenix Wright evidence is very clear when used correctly.
I am a hindrance.
What, still thinking about that? You should have known that already. You can't solve mysteries, you can't use your abilities, you can barely move, you've got no courage, no resolve. So yeah, you're basically a hindrance, an obstacle. Now beat it before you drag Master down with you.
Thanks forever.
Fubuki, are you okay?
I am
No,
fine.
my hair's doing that weird thing where the
stand on my own.
color changes for no reason.
Yuma, I am terribly sorry. From here on, I shall make an effort to not cause you any trouble.
You don't have to worry about it. If anything stands in our way, we'll work together to overcome it.
No, this is something I must do on my own.
I don't really understand how that works in this
I must
context.
become strong enough to take on the world before I can return to the Clockford family.
Hey, looks like she's getting motivated. Sometimes playing the bad guy gets results.
Playing? But you're always like this.
That's like the sickest burn to date. I wouldn't have expected that to come directly from Yuma.
I am curious. Are you really a detective in training, Yuma?
I don't know, man. Oh, look, the environment actually changed. Is it that that front hall is always the same? I didn't think it was.
You seem far more experienced with adventuring than I am. You even had the title of Warrior of Light.
It's like a different skill set, to be fair.
You gave me that title, Fubuki.
Master's an expert at getting dragged into other people's business. He's been forced around the block a few times. He's got a great mentor, too.
Oh, and she's gone. Fubuki just sort of dropped out there.
In contrast,
oh, and she's back.
I have nothing besides the ability to wind back time.
I mean, in fairness, it's like a... Oh, and she's gone.
And my only merit is useless here.
And she's back.
Too bad, so sad. You're not gonna make it through here.
You're getting real annoying. It's starting to stress me out. Master, help me unwind by turning them into mincemeat.
It's my favorite. It's the random death match. You have 8 games you can play after this one. You mean to make use of the stopping time ability, Ice Bunny? Or the rewinding time? Yonder return to the past, as it were? Do you think every time she uses her power, Xana gets stronger?
Even if you didn't fire...
Hold on. What do I have? For high voltage lines between the 2 buildings at the crime scene, travel between them is impossible, even by hot air balloon. Did we seriously put that in the solution key? Parallel gunshot wound. The gunshot wound on Shachi's body, the open wounds are almost perfectly parallel. Suspiciously so. Shachi's gun was specifically designed and assembled by Aruka. None of these seem immediately particularly useful.
The gun. A friend could have done it for you. You ordered your accomplice to snipe Shachi from someplace
Oh, shoot.
else.
I thought that was going to the left, not all the way across the bottom.
Your accomplice threw the gun over to you.
I don't think any of this matches anything.
And you planted it in Shachi's hand. That was your maggot master plan.
Wow, it did not give me time to duck
Where was
that.
the shot taken?
No, is that what we're doing?
There's one spot where the shot could have been made. You shot from the roof of the building next door.
Oh, okay. Really didn't think that's what we were doing. Nope, that's the wrong button.
Right.
Except...
Oh, I hate Reasoning Deathmatch so much.
If you didn't fire the gun,
I don't remember what the fast forward button is. I don't want to use it.
you ordered your accomplice to snipe Shachi from someplace else. Your accomplice threw the gun over to you. And you planted it in Shachi's hand. That was your maggot master plan!
It was a duck.
Huh? Where was the shot taken? There's one spot where the shot could have been made. You shot from the roof of the building next door!
Okay, now I'm super mad. Alistair, welcome. Finished this game 2 days ago. I've been working on it really gradually because I play it once a week, and we're streaming some other games during October. How you doing? We're probably winding down pretty soon, but it's good to have you here. We'll be playing again next Friday at the same time.
Even if you didn't fire the gun,
usually in a 3-hour window.
Could have done it for you.
Okay, hold on.
You ordered.
Okay, I jumped too early. I really don't. As has become the norm, I don't really feel like there is a clear rebuttal among the clues that we have and the specific statements being made by our villain here. Like the one that felt like the closest match, the game said I was stupid for trying. Oh, no, I get it. I understand what they're going for now. Okay. I'm supposed to respond to that same thing, but say parallel gunshot wound, because if I shot from the higher building, it wouldn't... That's so, like, niche, though. Like, I just don't like that they're not, like, clear rebuttals. They're, like, indirect. Like, the reasoning is fine, but, like, when I'm in this time section, I'm looking for something that's, like, you spilled the blue paint, and I'm like, it was red paint. Like, that's the type of thing I'm looking for. Because I'm, like, trying to dodge stuff and, like, slash things and get points or whatever. You shot from the 6th floor of the book depository. Yeah, man, I don't know. I didn't get to survey all the other surrounding buildings, just, like, kind of the one next door. So I need to select parallel and wait for that. Okay. Oh wait, this is the jump one.
Your accomplice threw the gun over to you. And you planted it in Shachi's hand. That was your maggot master plan! Huh? Where was the shot taken?
Such a weird thing. Like, no one even asked that question.
Where the shot could have been made. You shot from the roof of the building next door.
There we go. Got it.
This mystery.
It really looks like that necklace says Poyon, like poison without an S.
The building didn't have any windows, so the only way to shoot the victim was from the rooftop. But that building was taller than the hideout. If the victim was snapped from that height, the gunshot wound would have been at an angle.
Well, what if you suspended yourself from a rope and shot him parallel and then climbed back up? Huh?
But the gunshot wound through his head was horizontal. Based on the gunshot wound, it's impossible for the bullet to have traveled from the roof of the neighboring building.
Now, Ice Bunny, when you say that's a couple's costume, which of the two would you rather dress as? I mean, I agree with you, but would you say that you're more of a pointy teeth girl whose name I don't remember, or Dominic Fulltank with the very memorable good name? Okay.
I get it. Since the wound ran parallel to the roof, the shooter must have been at the same height.
Well, their gun hand must have been. It could have been short holding it up or tall holding it down.
Well, it could be that the victim's head was at an angle at the time of impact. But in that case, we would have found the bullet lodged in the roof.
Dominic, dude, fits your body type better. I mean, I think you could rock it. I think you could probably rock either one. I mean, it's just generally a good couple's costume because they're both such good looks. I really wanted to say on fleek looks, but I know that that's super triggering for people. There's something about on fleek in particular as slang that, like, when used incorrectly, it seems to make some people, like, irrationally mad. Like, very upset.
The monster conjures falsehoods to impede our progress.
But it's strange that they insist it was a homicide. If I'm not the culprit, it'd make more sense to rule it as a suicide.
Yeah, Neko, this might have been when you were taking the bath before, but I did take a moment when we were at the crime scene to point out that the blood splatter indicates that he would have shot himself with the right hand, but the custom model of gun he has suggests that he's left-handed. So, like, that is almost definitely part of this, yes.
That's because it is one. They're insisting it's a homicide to cover it up.
So you finally revealed your true nature, God of Darkness?
Huh?
Neko, if I could refund you, I would. It's not the Halloween stream, so I can't do that.
Yuma, do not be swayed by this deceiver. This case is most assuredly a homicide.
Assuredly? And what are you basing that on?
The power of my hunches.
The victim carried a gun, did he not? If so, he could have used it to combat the peacekeepers pursuing him. And yet, he hastily turned the gun on himself. I do not believe the victim was so cornered that he would commit suicide.
I mean, it's hard to know a person's personality.
That's a good point. Even if he wanted to avoid using his gun, he could have at least used it to threaten them.
So it must be a homicide.
No! Suicide!
That's like a pretty tenuous... Like, I agree that is probably not suicide for various reasons. But I don't feel like that is the argument that justifies.
Homicide! Suicide!
It's gonna be one of those time limit choice things. I forget the name for it. Nope, we're just in a room now. A room with mounts and
there are
goo.
2 doors?
No, we haven't had one of these in a minute. Ah, not the time limit kind, the other
The
kind.
letters are written in blood. Does Yuma's blood contain holy powers? And it illuminates this cursed labyrinth?
I just love how everything that she says undermines everything about Shinigami's whole existence.
Yuma, you are more than the warrior of light. You are the holy warrior of light.
Sure, that's fine. Let's focus on this problem. Is this a suicide or a homicide? We need to narrow it down, now.
It is clearly a homicide.
Nuh-uh! It's totally a suicide!
Yeah, there's something a little annoying about that, right, Neko? The fact that, like, the obvious answer from the crime scene is, like, basically never the correct answer, and sometimes it feels like the only way to know that is just to be aware of the fact that you're playing a video game where it, like, wouldn't be satisfying for that to be true. I tend to like it when games that do this sort of thing at least toy with that a little bit. And you could argue that, I think it's like that first case has a thing where, at least to me, it felt like the answer was obviously one thing, and then the game forced you to take the other direction, but then, like, ultimately it was like, oh no, now there's more evidence, and we know that was wrong. But, like, I didn't really like the way that they handled that, because, like, the Mystery Labyrinth is kind of supposed to be like an arbiter of truth, that it, like, sort of already knows the answer to the mystery, and you navigating it is supposed to sort of just demonstrate trying to, like, overcome the misdirection and find the truth. So, like, the Mystery Labyrinth shouldn't be, like, tricked that way. Like, it just felt weird to me. I think this is probably where I would like to save and end the stream for this week. Let's do... No, that's fine. That's fine as that is. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, especially when the cases get this complicated and there's multiple parts to them, it... Like, I guess the thing is that I kind of just would like a little more nuance from some of these things. Like, it feels like a lot of the time, some of the fun, like, twisty parts of the logic of the cases in Rain Code are the things that they really want to gloss over really lightly. like the types of things where they want you to just like make a split-second decision as to like how some part of the crime was done or something. It's like, to me, it would be interesting if you could reach some of those conclusions with like actual evidence instead of the game just sort of being like, I don't know, did they zig or zag? And then you're like, I don't know, zig. And they're like, they didn't zig. And you're like, okay, zag? Got it. Yeah, they zag. And then that ends up being like really important to the case. And it's like, yeah, but like, it's not satisfying when I flip a coin, get it wrong, and then reload. Like, it's fun to solve the mystery. Like, I don't love the timed elements. Like, in theory, I don't hate the RDM thing, but I think that I would like for the wording of those to more carefully match what the clues are like so that you know where you're supposed to apply things. Like, I get tripped up in that in a way that tends to be frustrating because I usually understand the whole case and even generally like what the question is at that moment of the RDM, and often feel like I just like lose hit points because I don't know the precise way that the game wants me to input the information I know into the game. And like, it's fine if I like just genuinely miss a step and like don't know the clue that they're referencing or whatever, but like it feels pretty frustrating when I definitely like clearly understand the nature of the case and the thing in question and still get it like wrong because the game just says that I didn't answer in the form of a question, you know, to reference this sort of marginal way that you can miss out on Jeopardy despite knowing the correct answer. Like, that's kind of what it feels like happens sometimes. And it's like, it makes sense in Jeopardy because those are the rules, but like, in this game where the purpose seems to be solving the mystery, it's not satisfying to me personally. So sometimes I get a bit more frustrated in the Mystery Labyrinth, as you've seen before. I have plans for the rest day tomorrow. I'm going to go visit my parents and watch Hallmark Christmas movies because they've been coming out for the past few weeks. But mostly I would like not to be fully on for like 11 hours again. The Halloween weekend is always a challenge, but I don't know. I'm glad that people enjoy it. Glad that we managed to make it work. There were a lot of challenges this year. Let's gather some guesses. Of course, as always, somewhere on the couch behind me, I've hidden a secret Squirtle. If you can see a Squirtle, like our Halloween friend up here, that guy's not a secret because you can see him. But hidden somewhere on the couch where you can't immediately see them is a Squirtle. And if you locate that Squirtle, it will be an omen of good luck for you in the coming days. So I invite you to try and consider where that Squirtle might be hiding. And I'm going to polish off some of this 100% juice apple, legally distinct from apple juice in some meaningful way, I think. Yeah, I gotta get packed up because my house is a mess and I haven't done anything about it. The big one. I assume you mean, maybe you can't see because of the way things are positioned, but I assume you mean this one over here, Ice Bunny? That's our lobster friend Lorenzo, but he has many of the same hallmarks as Carlos, so he may occasionally be mistaken for even bigger crab. I don't know if they make a crab this big. I know that they make a crab this big, and that they make a crab this big, and even that they make a crab this big, and actually, this one, also a tiny crab. So what do we got? Christmas Poo, Ninja Turtle, Carlos, and Wally. Okay, let's go take a look. Let's see what we can see. Okay. Let's start over here for fun. So, look at all our little crabs, just to demonstrate my point from a moment ago. This one is a tiny replica of our lobster. He's also very good. Slightly less small than Carlos and slightly off-color Carlos. And just for the sake of thoroughness, this is, of course, Carlos. He is Clawsome. He is also backwards. So much like our Oop Ghost, who says exclamation mark OO capital B, is tough to see on the flip side, which is where I live. But Carlos was hanging out with our group friend. Neko had guessed. That's a structural challenge. That there might be a Squirtle hiding behind Naomi. I'm a little concerned about moving this. Hiding down there is the concerned loaf. This is not a good idea. There we go. Somehow I made that work. Concerned loaf. He is displeased. Some guesses around here. Christmas Winnie the Pooh. Now, I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life, but I did put Santa Winnie the Pooh out, and I'm already wearing a Christmas shirt with my green shorts. So for me, the countdown has begun because, as we know, Christmas is coming. But hiding with Santa Pooh behind Eeyore, or behind Wally, is little anime Eeyore. I kind of like that. Unlike we have a tiny Winnie the Pooh from the same series as this Eeyore, but he kind of looks just like, you know, like Winnie the Pooh. He's very cute. But I kind of like that this Eeyore is, like, very stylized. And, of course, he has the essential pin the tail on the donkey tail. And then that leaves us with Ice Bunny's guess. Just to demonstrate the point, here's our little Lorenzo, here's our big Lorenzo, and here's a secret Squirtle. I particularly like that the little Lorenzo lobster doesn't quite have claws. He has like little mittens. It's really, that's always tickled me. Relatable loaf. Yeah, man, we've all been there. Anyway, congratulations, Ice Bunny. You located our secret Squirtle. That will conclude our stream for today. Again, as a reminder, tomorrow is off. I'll be back next Friday and Saturday normally. At least until approximately Thanksgiving. I haven't really worked out the specifics of what that looks like yet. But we'll probably take a little time off there. Definitely some time off toward the end of the year. Have started working on trying to like fit in stuff that won't clash horribly with some time off. You can let me know on the Discord if you have interest in making like a push to finish rain code. Like that might be a good idea. Like we could just try to do that like before the end of the year maybe, and that way we don't have to deal with gaps making memorizing details of the cases more difficult or anything like that. But as I mentioned on the Discord a little earlier today, there's something I had in mind that's like a 1 to 2 stream game that something I kind of wanted to play, and since we're sort of in a gap still for a second game, might play that to sort of fill a little time and figure out what might work best. But yeah, back next weekend. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you, and I hope to see you again soon. Enjoy your Saturday off. I hope you have a great time. And we'll be back to resume our adventures and misadventures and silently seething about all of the snarky commentary from Shinigami next time. In the meantime, take care of yourselves and remember that you are Clawsome.